All right, welcome everybody. Today's Thursday, April 16th, and calling the meeting to order. We have Kevin O'Neill, Denise Luciano, Bob Kimball, Roger Marsan, and myself. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead, Peter.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First order of business is Select Board reorganization. I'd like to congratulate Denise in her successful reelection. So, you're welcome. Mr. Town Manager.
So as tradition has it, I chair this part of the meeting, and it's my pleasure to help the Select Board reorganize as they do after every April election. I'd be happy to entertain a motion.
Mr. Town Manager, or Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Roger Marsan as chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rich, second by, who was the second?
We were both,
think-
Mr. O'Neill.
Mr. O'Neill. I think everyone was seconding that, which is a good sign. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Looks to be unanimous. Without, I'll turn the table over to Chair Marsan. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank the board for their faith in my ability. I would entertain a motion for vice chair.
Se-
I'd like to nominate myself for vice chair.
Second.
Chairman, I'd like to nominate Mr. Rich for vice chair.
Second. So I believe we have two people that are nominated. I didn't hear the first one, I'm sorry.
Me?
Oh, you? Okay.
Can I get a pen, please?
So all those in favor of Ms. Luciano as vice chair? Aye? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No.
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 All those in favor of Mr. Rich as vice chair?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Congratulations to Mr. Rich as vice chair. I would like to make a motion for Bob Kimball to be clerk.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for Denise Luciano as chair.
As clerk?
Clerk, I'm sorry, clerk.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of Mr. Kimball as clerk, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of Ms. Luciano as clerk?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
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 Congratulations to Mr. Kimball as clerk. Now that the board is reorganized, we'll move forward with the meeting. We have proclamations, resolutions, and citations. Ms. Luciano, I think you,
Mr. Chair, we have Representative Howitt with a proclamation from the state.
okay, Mr. Howitt.
Oh, it's not in here?
We have congratulations to the new officers of the Select Board. Now, as you know, Norton does have a Board of Selectmen, but they also have an unofficial mayor. And the unofficial mayor is sitting right here. And I understand you just recently turned 40.
40, that's right.
That's amazing.
That's right. 40 years old.
So, my colleague, Michael Chazen, Rep. Chazen, was unavailable tonight. And so I'm here representing the two of us, and we have something special for you.
What is it?
I don't know. Do you have room on your wall to put this?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because if you didn't, I wasn't going to give it to you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what this says is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Peter, is it J or F? I can't read these.
Peter J.
J,
J.
okay.
Wiggins.
Wiggins, honorary mayor of Norton, in recognition of the celebration of your 40th birthday. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune. Where are you going? For future good fortune
Yes. Good for the good fortunes.
and continued success in all endeavors,
Yes.
given this 12th day of April. That was your birthday.
My birthday, 2026.
Yep, okay. At the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, by Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House, and by State Representative Michael Chazen, and offered by State Representative Stephen S. Howitt. Congratulations
Yes,
and
thank
happy
you,
birthday.
Steve. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you, Steve.
Let's go get a picture with it. Peter, wait a minute. Is this right here?
That's right.
You need a bit, yeah.
There you go. Where we looking? Just say where we're looking before you.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unlock it.
Yeah, from the side. I can do it on the side.
Need your fingerprint.
Happy birthday. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, come in a little bit. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's it. Bill's going to be at 40 and I continue to be your mayor of Norton for a long time.
Good.
I'm a proud supporter of everything that Norton has offered. I love its people and its citizens.
Thank you, Peter.
This is the library proclamation. Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Well, I guess they took care of that.
Yeah, right, all set, check.
Okay.
Okay, if that works.
Sure. Whenever you will.
Go ahead. The librarian, Amanda. I know. This is the fun stuff, though. So, you had contacted our Representative Chazen's in my office about a resolution. Now, a resolution, as you know, goes through the legislative process, and it becomes permanent record within the record of the State House. So, we did this resolution commending the Norton Public Library. We hope you frame this and put it up. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So, excuse me, the Massachusetts House of Representatives resolutions commending the Norton Public Library during the 2026 National Library Week. We have a few of these whereas, so just bear with me. Whereas the Norton Public Library in the town of Norton will celebrate April 19th through April 25th, 2026 as National Library Week, and whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where all individuals, regardless of background, can find joy through exploration and discovery. And whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and cultural enrichment. And whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community, and libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEM programs, and literary initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. And whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression, therefore it is resolved that the Massachusetts House of Representatives hereby commends the Norton Public Library during the week of April 19th through the 25th, 2026, in celebrating National Library Week, encouraging all residents to visit the Norton Public Library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library helps our community find joy, and be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions be forwarded by the Clerk of the House of Representatives to the Norton Public Library. Adopted by the House of Representatives, April 13th, 2026, Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House, Tim Cahill, Clerk of the House, and offered by Stephen S. Howard and Mark Chazen, your state representatives. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we're also delivering our beloved library director, a similar proclamation from the town manager and the select board that says the same thing.
Thank you for reading.
Oh, it was difficult.
Got me off the hook.
Mark, get in a little bit closer.
There we go.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So proud of me.
Glad you can make it.
Yeah, yeah.
We have some information for you on the gasoline thing. I'll send it to you later.
Okay, we filed it as an amendment to the budget.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Ends up being like,
Oh, that's, okay, great.
thank you.
Mr. Town Manager,
Mr. Chair.
I believe we have another resolution.
We do. I have the language here if whoever you would like to read that resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
You have a copy?
we have it.
Or should I
Let's explain what it is first.
introduce it? Sure. So many towns and cities are recognizing the duty of government to be transparent to its residents. And that starts with all levels of government, federal, state, and local. And we're rightly considered justified in considering where our tax money goes, that the people we elect to represent us are in fact doing a good job. So in 2024, November 5th, the state election, Massachusetts resoundingly 72% declared that we would like the legislature to be audited. And people in Norton even more resoundingly supported that by 74%. Rarely do you see such a resounding message to the state from everyday residents. So we've had numerous requests by residents to put this on the agenda, and that's what we're doing tonight to determine if they would like to speak and take a stance, maybe tell the state legislators how we feel on the issue. So before the board is a potential proclamation and letters that would go to the legislative delegation, Rep. Howitt that was here, Rep. Chasen, Senator Feeney, the state auditor, Diana DiZoglio, and the Governor, Maura Healey.
Mr. Chairman,
Kimball.
a couple of things. First, I asked the town clerk today what the actual vote was in Norton. There were 10,723 registered voters voted on question number 1. 7,393 were yes, 2,638 were no, and 692 were blanks. So it kind of gives you a general idea where the 74% came from. There is a letter to the select board indicating that on November 5th, 2024, the state election, votes across Massachusetts approved question 1 by a strong margin of 72% statewide. This measure clarified that the state auditor has the authority to audit the legislature. Norton voters were even more decisive, 74% locally, reflecting the community's strong support of transparency and accountability in state government. Despite the clear mandate subsequent efforts have been made to limit or challenge the auditor's ability to conduct such audits. The purpose of the resolution urges the Massachusetts legislature, along with the Attorney General and Governor, to honor the will of the voters by permitting question 1 to be fully executed as intended. And it is recommended that the Norton Select Board adopt the attached resolution and formally transmit it to the state legislature, the Attorney General, the Governor, and the state audit. I'll read the resolution signed by the board. It's a resolution urging Massachusetts legislature to honor the vote of the constituents on question number 1. Whereas there was a presidential and state election held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, and whereas in the above mentioned election, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts had 5 referendum questions on the ballot, and whereas referendum question number 1 on the ballot asked whether the state auditor should have the authority to audit the legislature, and whereas question 1 passed in the Commonwealth with 72% approval statewide, and whereas in the town of Norton, the question carried at 74% locally, and whereas despite the clear mandate, there has been continuing attempt to limit or challenge Auditor DeZoglio's office in conducting the full audit in the legislature as intended by question 1, and now therefore be it resolved that the Norton Select Board urges the Commonwealth's elected officials in the House of Representatives and the State House, along with the Attorney General and Governor's Office, to allow question 1 to be executed fully as the voters intended. Adopted on this by the Norton Board of Selectmen on the 16th day of April, 2026.
Thank you. And Mr. Town Manager, you'll make sure that that letter gets sent out to the appropriate parties.
I will, Mr. Chair, if that's the will of the board.
Please. I think all 5 of our signatures are on the resolution.
Okay.
Okay, appointments, resignations, and retirements. I think we're just going to put one in here right at the beginning so that we can make an introduction. And
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm pleased to introduce the board to our newest member, who actually starts on the 29th, but is already appointed. So we're not asking for a vote, just introducing the board to Miss Lindsay Grasso, who is currently serving as treasurer collector in another community, and we're very fortunate to find her after a multi-round interview process with many qualified applicants. Ms. Grasso rose right to the top. Her experience in leadership roles in another community, as well as the Plymouth County Treasurers Association, the Massachusetts Strategic Health Group, and just her clear understanding, her knowledge, just talking with her, she's a municipal finance expert. She gets it, and will position our community for a strong financial position for years to come. So maybe Ms. Grasso could just introduce yourself briefly, if that's okay.
Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Lindsay Grasso, like he said. I've been a treasurer collector for close to 7 years for another community. In my accomplishments, I've been the president of Plymouth County Treasurers Association, as well as served on the board of Mass Strategic Health Group. Some of my other accolades, I've implemented new systems for the town. I've cleaned up cash and accounts receivable. And keep going. I've overseen another department as well. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to working for the town of Norton and the community.
well, thank you, Lindsay. Does anybody have any questions for Lindsay? Nope. Well, we can't wait for you to get started.
Thank you. I can't wait. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you, and happy birthday.
You want another picture? Sure, come on.
Wait, another picture?
I know.
Picture day today.
It's picture day. It's like a yearbook.
Guys, we don't usually have this many pictures, but we're so excited.
Yes, thank you.
Right in a minute, right over here. Like you belong.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Lindsay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
I didn't meet you both of you
Glad to
yet.
have you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Ms. Grasso's first or second day will be helping us host a meeting, so
Yeah.
she'll be well versed in how the Hicks Fund works by then. Okay, Mr. Town Manager.
Mr. Chair, next up we have some appointments. So I understand Ms. Luciano served very diligently on the Serpide board, and we'd like to thank her for keeping me updated and for keeping tabs on all the transportation initiatives and all the great programs that Serpide has. And she's asked to step down, and we have Justin Chicka, who's interested, our DPW director. So it would be fitting to have our DPW director plugged into the local transportation and a community group there. So I would put him forward for the board's consideration to be appointed as a commissioner of Serpide. And he's very familiar with Serpide. If you'd like him to speak to it, I'm sure he can share his interest in the position.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rich.
if I may, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Justin Chicka as the Commissioner of Serpide, standing appointment as the Commissioner of Serpide.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, no questions for Mr. Chicka. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Just want to double check. Justin is a meeting next week. Are you going? All right. Awesome.
Mr. Chair, next up, we have another appointment of Mr. Chicka before the board as Commissioner of MFN, and we'd like to thank myself for serving as a commissioner. But I will defer to Mr. Chicka's
Reluctantly
experience.
served.
I'll stay plugged in. It's Lee, who was Mansfield's DPW director, who runs MFN, and he does a great job. And it's actually a part-time job for him, but he runs it well. And I have all the confidence that Mr. Chicka can add to it. And we're doing big things with regional groups, which are the future. We got SEMREC in full swing and MFN. And just being a part of these regional groups strengthens all the towns. It dilutes the cost and helps the efficiency.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
I make a motion to appoint Justin Chicka as a Commissioner of MFN, standing appointment. FN, by the way, MFN is Mansfield, Foxborough, Norton. It's our wastewater treatment facility, just so people understand that.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I just got a question for you, Mr. Chicka.
Mr. Chair?
Do they have, so I'm assuming there's regular meetings that you'll be attending?
Monthly meetings.
Monthly meetings. All right. If you could keep us up to date in what's going on with those, just
Absolutely. As you probably are tuned in right now, sludge removal is our biggest concern over at MFN. So it was also a concern of mine in my past position. So I'm looking forward to working with Lee and the commission to come up with a long-standing resolution for that.
thank you. Is a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In your free time, go to the MFN.
Next up, Mr. Chair, we have the GATRA Advisory Board. So I was looking at the general law. So the general law is Chapter 161B, Section 5, and it actually makes the chair of the board the advisory board member, but the board is free to designate anyone they choose. So we would put forward Mr. Kevin O'Neill as the GATRA designee of the board, term ending April 30th, 2028.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
I'm making a motion to appoint Kevin O'Neill as the GATRA Advisory Board member and designee with a term expending April 30th, 2028.
Second.
Motion and its second. Any discussion?
Just one question. Is that okay with you, Kevin?
As long as I can rely on Peter as
Okay.
my advisor locally. I don't think anyone's going to have regional as advisor as much as with the insight that like Peter does with Yatra. Absolutely.
Great, because I know the cat routes very well.
You do, Pete.
Me too.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, did get an email from Serpent about an appointee and a designee to the Joint Transportation Planning Group. Mr. Town Manager, I guess we have to do that probably at our next meeting. That's yet one more group that we, I believe maybe
That's,
Jared might be the
that's
Ralph.
another one for Serpent, you said?
JTPG, yeah.
Our last appointee was Ralph.
Were you?
Okay. That was Ralph, wasn't it? Yeah, we can do that at the next meeting. Hang on 1 second. Mr. Tricker.
JTPG is part of Serped's organization, and it's generally speaking, it's the organization that brings the TIP projects forward, votes on whether to move them forward, and then it moves up to the Serped Commission before MassDOT approves them. So it would be, Jared would be, I think he's a designated appointee right now, but it would make sense to make him the standing appointee.
Chairman, we have time on this. I just wanted to bring it to our attention while we're looking at the other stuff.
Okay.
Pass that down to the town manager. An application.
Okay. Yes, we received the same notice. Happy to put that on for the next meeting. Thank you. If I may, next up is recognition of service. So I'd like to personally thank our long-standing planner, economic director, who's given many years of service to the people of Norton, and his work has supported the planning board, the zoning board, done a lot of work on the bylaws, long-range planning, zoning initiatives, redevelopment opportunities, been part of the Blue Star development, and he's truly given a lot to this town, and thank you, Paul. And I believe the board has a citation as well.
I don't know if I have it.
Yeah. One more page, I think.
Got it?
Yeah.
Before I read this, by the way, Paul, I want to thank you for all you've done over the years. One committee we didn't bring up was the Joint Transportation Committee and the New Traffic Safety Committee, which was your idea. It was formed a few years ago. So we thank you for helping us with that project also. In recognition of service for Paul DiGiuseppe, Director of Planning and Zoning and Economic Development. Whereas Paul DiGiuseppe has served the town of Norton as Director of Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development, providing leadership and professional expertise in guiding the town's planning and development efforts. And whereas during his tenure, he supported the work of the Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Economic Development Initiatives, helping to advance key projects and long-range planning efforts that contribute to the town's future. And whereas his work has supported important initiatives, including the advancements of the Norton Master Plan, Village Center planning efforts, zoning implementation, and economic development opportunities that will benefit the community for years to come. And whereas his service reflects a commitment to the public administration and the continued growth and development of the town of Norton. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Norton Select Board hereby expresses its appreciation of Paul DiGiuseppe for his service to the town and extends its best wishes for continued success in the future endeavors. This was adopted on the 16th day of April, 2026.
Come on up, Paul. All right, one more picture, guys. Yeah.
We need a photo.
Sorry to see you go, Paul.
You got congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good. Take care. Good luck. Take care. Thank you.
Paul?
Paul, before you take
Paul.
off.
But wait,
So
there's more.
I wanted to add to your list of accomplishments. A lot of people don't realize that you also taped and recorded and interviewed many business profiles around town. Anybody who has watched any of them on the Norton YouTube channel, they're great. They're insightful. I'm sure they helped with promoting the business and gaining, sales and business for those businesses, if not just recognition. So I want to mention that because we want to forget about it. But I was on the planning board for a while, and Paul is a great gentleman. He always listened, took feedback, advice. Even years after I was on the planning board, I would stop into his office and be very congenial and allow me to share my opinions, even though I don't, I shouldn't have one anymore because I don't serve in that role. But we're truly going to miss you, Paul. I know you've moved around into different positions. I hope that you're settling into something that you really like long term, because you're a professional and you deserve that longevity. So good luck.
Good luck, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Well said, Mr. Owner.
Mr. Chair, we do have, we have a license and permit next. So this is a one-day liquor license to go along with our Sip and Stroll event for May 16th.
And who's the applicant? Are they?
This is,
I know it says William Fuller, but I don't know who that is.
the Bartending Service of New England is the usual vendor that the Sip and Stroll uses. And I believe they're partnering with Bog Iron.
Okay.
So it's just one request for a one-day license. They don't like to have more than one vendor because that could create liability, not knowing who's serving who.
Generous.
So it makes a lot of sense just to have one-day license for the Bartending Service of New England. As you'll notice, all the departments have signed off respectively. And there's a certificate of insurance as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
are there any police details for this, or I don't see anything on the application. It says that they're planning on number of expected attendees 4,000 people. I just don't see anything that's mentioning anything about details of any sort.
So I understand that was negotiated directly with the police chief between the vendor and him. He is in warmer climates this week, so I was unable to speak with him extensively, but he did sign off on the application that he was satisfied that the appropriate number, whatever that number is, we can get back to you on exactly how many details. I think NEMA also is willing to pitch in, and frankly, all the departments are working with us. The library is closing early that day to create more parking and vendor space. The highway is moving their vehicles, so they'll be parking out back. It's going to be a great event, May 16th. Put it on your calendar.
Won't be there.
You'll be there?
Any other questions?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the one-day liquor license for May 16th for Bartending Services of New England, located at 31 Vine Street, Middleborough, Massachusetts.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's take a roll call for that. Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Luciano?
Yes.
Mr. Kimball?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Announcements.
I have one, I think. I want to bring up again. Just another reminder, the United States is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year, and we want to remind everyone that Memorial Day will be kicking off the 250th anniversary here in Norton. We're asking to be a part of the community parade. We are seeking participants from the community groups, local businesses, high school bands, pipe bands, civic groups, anyone who wants to celebrate America. If you're interested in participating, you can contact Gary Cameron at the VFW. His phone number is 508-265-0442. I think that's all I have.
I have one I'd just like to bring up. I would just like to thank the clerk's office, all of the poll workers, NEMA, and the police department, and everybody that was involved in putting together and pulling off a well-run election, which had a couple of glitches in it. We were running another event at the same time, so that was a little bit of a challenge, but I think that the clerk's office and the poll workers and NEMA did a great job, so I'd just like to thank them.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rich.
if I may add another announcement that we didn't have actually written out, but I'd like to make it, if through you, a standing announcement until the date of the event. We have the Norton Veterans Council Carnival coming up June 25th through 28th. Thursday through a Sunday, and part of that, we also have Founders Day on Saturday, the 27th. So just want to make everybody aware of that as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if I may, so the next one may take a bit of time. So if I could propose one to be taken out of order. So we're going to be discussing warrant articles, and we have a gentleman here for warrant article 25. If that's okay to take that one out of order.
Okay.
So
Do you have any problem with that?
I don't see any draft warrant articles.
It's, what page is that, Christie? Do we have a page? I saw it in there. Page 32.
Yeah, that's just the list, right?
It is. Yep.
yeah, so we won't have the draft article for until like the 1st of May, but we'd like to have the board weigh in on whether or not, I mean, it's a straightforward thing. Either we support, well, let me explain it and see if it makes sense. So essentially what this is there's a stormwater issue on South Worcester Street, 44 South Worcester Street. And if you look at the topography, I think there's a video we might be able to bring up. Bassam, are you the eye in the sky? So the way the topography on the street works is 10 houses in either direction approximately. The stormwater flows to a catch basin, which has perennially overflowed every year, and it's caused a river to flow on private property. So normally I wouldn't bring something like this forward, but this is a very unique circumstance. In fact, the resident has been trying to seek redress since 2017, 2019. The previous town manager took an easement in their front yard, dug a hole, installed a culvert, and still hasn't fixed the problem. So this would be the next level. And I understand there are varying opinions about what needs to happen. What is before you is piping it to the golf course, as has been done on the other side of the yard. So the price would be $100,000 authorization. Hopefully it wouldn't cost that much, but just to be safe, so we wouldn't come back, and that would solve the overflowing. And I understand the resident, with the chair's permission, would like to say a few words, and our DPW director's here also for questions if we have any. Which video would you like us to play first?
Come on up. I'm sorry. I didn't get, would you just let us know your name?
My name's Trevor McPherson. This is my wife, Christine.
Hi.
We'd like to start with the first video and the second video. They go together, and then the fourth video. if we could.
Hopefully the sound works too. It's be a good test.
It doesn't really need sound.
Bassam, we still have the email up. I don't know if it's on a different screen, but
So this would be the first video that we captured in 2019. That would be our side yard.
We bought the house in 2018.
It happened a couple of times previous to this, but we weren't.
Bassam, can you
Video-
make the video bigger?
So you can
Thank
see
you.
the road is full of water, and once the drain can't keep up with it, it just overflows
And
into our side yard.
And then into our house. It comes in the back door.
Well, the next video will be the backyard when this happened. If we could show the second video.
Thank you.
So this is at our back door. The water goes to the golf course no matter what. We're just asking that it doesn't go through our yard to get there.
And this isn't like a hurricane or a really crazy storm. This has happened dozens and dozens of times. We started reaching out in 2019. And then I think around 2024 was when we finally, we started reaching out in 2019. And then finally got a little bit of traction 2024-ish. We've got like a timeline and all the emails and whatnot and tons of videos. So they did eventually come out and do something.
So that's that would be the fourth video. If we could show you, they came and they put the retention trench in, and it didn't solve the problem. It made it more frequent, because in the video, if you want to play video number 4, you'll see that the ponding issue on the road is gone because it just automatically fills up the trench now. So the road was our saving grace before, because it would hold an exorbitant amount of water, and now it holds no water. It just comes into the trench that they made, and the trench overflows, and then it does the same thing to the yard. So if we could show video 4.
You'll see how quickly it fills up.
The video is a total of 5 minutes, and it's not time lapse.
So if we could, Bassam, just like skip forward every 30 seconds and not show the full 5 minutes.
So
Yeah, you could go to minute
That's
4.
the trench that
That's-
they put in our front yard.
We gave up the easement. We got a lawyer. We were desperate, so we had this installed.
The town, this was their solution.
You could fast forward to minute 4 if you want to. And you can see there's no water ponding on the road anymore. And that's when it starts overflowing, and it just...
And then it's even worse now because we get all the trash and the chemicals and everything else from the road flows through our front yard to the side, out the back. And we have to clean up after every storm.
And this is not a 7-year storm. This is a Wednesday storm of any given rainstorm. This happens now.
We've had to put an alarm in our basement, so if it happens in the middle of the night, when the water starts coming in, it wakes us up, and we run down and with a shop vac start getting the water out and putting it in the washing machine, because it comes in the back door.
3 o'clock in the
We
morning.
can't open the back door.
It's literally 8 inches on the back door. I screw a 2x12 to try and slow it down just so we could keep up with the vacuum. And it'll be 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I mean, 4 times a year. It's just,
So the solution didn't work. It kind of made it worse at this point.
so we've spent thousands of dollars on the driveway, grading the other side of the house. I've ran 6-inch pipe. I've done everything I could residentially to try and deal with this, but it's beyond scope I can't do anything to keep up with that.
So,
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Kimball.
Just for clarity, Mark, so this drain was not in the street at some point. How long has this drain been in the street?
The culvert was in the street. I'd only be guessing at least a couple decades.
Okay, so it's been in the street for quite a while. Unfortunately, you took me down there one day, so I know what we're talking about. So the land behind that is the golf course. The golf course has no standing, and as far as us moving water from the street
We
to the
would
golf
need
course,
an easement
we need
from
an
them
easement.
if we want to run the drain pipe to their property.
Did we get an easement on the property itself before we?
Have an easement on the property itself. What we would also ask the property owner is for a waiver that we won't, they won't come back and, sue the town for trying to help them or ask for anything additional after we do this, if we do this. And there is a drain pipe on the other side of their yard that already goes to the golf course. There's probably 2 or 3 drain pipes from the neighborhood that I noticed on the golf course on that side. And it's just nowhere near the green, so only guys like me would hit balls on that side.
And I'd be with you on that one. So so just so I'm clear, we're looking for up to $100,000 to correct this issue. Would that involve new pipes and all that kind of stuff to get it beyond their property? Would that be what the plan would be?
Yes, sir. So this would include design and construction up to a maximum of 100. Hopefully could be done for far less.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud you for your calm demeanor. I probably would have a different state of mind myself on this matter, but I think it's important that we actually do have to fix something that we probably started years ago. And unfortunately, you guys inherited in, 2018, 19?
2018.
Yeah, when you came on board. So as long as we can get the easement to the back and get it onto the golf course, I mean, I think that's probably the most logical solution to the problem. And it looks like we should do it sooner than later. So I think it's important that we probably act on this.
Mr. Chicka, could you come up and answer a couple of questions? I understand that this is you're new to the job, and this is just.
For the record, I didn't do this.
You just inherited this like they inherited it. But,
Correct.
Could you give us your perspective on this whole situation? I'm sure you've looked into it.
Yeah, from what I know of, again, I think the previous town manager had been approached, and he had asked the highway superintendent to look into this and see what we could do to alleviate this problem. I think at that time, the highway superintendent met with Mr. Travis, and I'm sorry, Trevor and Christina, I'm sorry. And kind of talked through getting the easement and putting this retention pond there as a first effort. They're at the bottom of the stormwater system. It's a result of us building homes everywhere. Not their fault, just the way life is. I think the retention pond went in, and to my knowledge, at times it still overflows. It raises up above that retention pond and comes over. Now, the highway superintendent recommends the next phase be to build a berm a little bit to their side of the detention pond, but I also understand that the homeowners have to now look at this detention pond that they didn't have to look at it years ago. So I think there might be an option as to building a berm. I think there's an option of naturally making the water flow towards the golf course rather than digging up the property, running a line, getting the easement, so on and so forth. But I do think that would be our last ditch effort. So as I mentioned last night at the finance committee meeting, I'm new to it. I'd like to have a little time before I give my honest opinion on what the next step forward is. I was asked to get a quote on what it would cost to run the line to the golf course, again, provided that they give us that easement, and the $100,000 estimate was what they came up with for design. But I also like the opportunity for us to do a few things before we do that. So I guess if you ask me my recommendation, it would be to maybe allow the appropriation to go forward so that we can move on to the next step. And if the next step doesn't work, we don't have to come back and ask for a third step. That would be my recommendation.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, Justin, I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot of questions that I have. The biggest things would be, what changed? What transpired that would have caused any of this water flow to change? And water, you just can't shed it one place or another because it affects someone else detrimentally.
Was it happening previously to them owning the house? I obviously don't know if...
So maybe if you can do a little bit of background and find out what has changed, because we can't go through this and fix it twice and it's still not working.
Correct.
So
I'm more concerned about why it's getting there rather than what to do with it.
Well, where's the source? What's going on? And we can't make someone's problem somebody else's problem.
Agreed.
And is there certainty that the golf course would be amenable to this?
We've reached out. They gave us an easement, I guess, originally for the other side of the house. I don't know if that was prior to you living there or... Okay, so at one point they did give us an easement, which these catch basins all kind of connect. So they did give us one at one time, but I have also understand there's new owners there. I don't know. We've reached out and they haven't returned the call yet.
Okay, gotcha. So there's that possibility, and with that, we need a plan B for a more permanent fix if there's more volume needed underground in between the catch basins, which I know that.
Yep.
What if it was working before and all of a sudden it doesn't? The catch basins need to be redone. Is there a biomat around the
Sure.
The leaching area, the leaching stone?
And I think that's part of the next step forward would be to investigate, and I don't know what investigations were done prior to, maybe the homeowners do. Did they go upstream? Did they figure out why is this water coming down there in the first place? Where else could we put it besides just sending it out to the golf course or anywhere out there?
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that, we don't act hastily. I mean, we recognize the problem, 100%, but we can't make someone's problem somebody else's, number one. And number two, we don't want to have this be a perpetual type of thing.
Understood.
More permanence to it.
Yep.
Because we don't want to fix it twice and still have a problem. Yeah, or any of your neighbors for that matter. So that's all. That's my
Mr. Chairman.
input.
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, and you came on after we had to address Barrels Court. Another same type of
I'm
situation.
very much aware of that, and yes, same type of situation.
So you have to keep an open mind on other alternatives, because it appears that what we actually did there may be working, which is a good thing. We were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair that, and what they found was these massive roots inside of a pipe that had been destroyed along the way, and we're able to dig it up, replace the section of pipe, and it seems to be working.
Understood.
So to your point, you may have to look at a bunch of different options. Obviously, we got to fix it, but we got to figure out a way to do it. And if the golf course is probably my number one concern would be the golf course. If they say we're not putting any water on my property, then we're going to have to definitely look at other options. But I appreciate the fact that you want to look at different ways of doing it, because sometimes we throw money at something and then suddenly, after we've spent tons of money, it still doesn't work. So there may be some other solutions you might be able to come up with, and I encourage you to do that as much as you
Agreed.
can.
Thank you.
Sure.
So the town did come out and they actually realized there was a manhole under our driveway that was covered. So they dug up our driveway, found the manhole, looked in and to see if it was what you're talking about, and then fed a camera down it and.
It was Keith Silver was the original person I was working with. They came out, they dug up the driveway, the pipe that goes to the retention pond in the golf course goes right down my driveway under my shed. There's a dry well right behind my shed on the golf course, and then it goes straight to the retention pond on the golf course. They snaked it, they climbed down in it, they did that. That was the first step, and
And it didn't.
and we're
do
here.
anything.
So unless and that's the first thing we should check for is the roots destroying the pipe. I just want to save some time because we did that.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. O'Neill.
So I'm familiar with this house. Actually, I had a family member look at it when it was on the market back in 2018, so I certainly feel your pain. I would ask that, Justin, we look back at any building permits from the previous owner to see what was done, and to help, to Bob's point, to help identify maybe the source of the change, because that street, that house has been there a long time, and all of a sudden, since these folks move in, it's problematic. So that we don't, we don't do work on it, and it doesn't solve the problem. And then, because there's got to be something that was done, to create this problem all of a sudden. And then the other thing is, what was I going to say? It'll come to me in a minute. Oh, you do, yeah. So when I was walking the property myself, looking at it, I could tell there was a lot of work that was done on the property, either to get it to sale or previous work, like on the driveway, for example. So I would. Oh, that was my other question. If you get an easement and you run a drain out to the golf course and they're fine with it, will that help any other drainage issues on the street? You mentioned it's a low point. Would it help divert other water problems up and down?
I would not speak to that right now.
Okay.
My concern is that the pipe that they talk about on the other side of their driveway wasn't sized big enough to take the volume that's coming down that road. That would be my first guess, right? Especially if they say it was cambered and it's clear, that tells me that pipe wasn't big enough. But that still doesn't answer the question, is why is the volume so much in that area? So until I can speak to that intelligently, I couldn't tell you.
Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
Just for clarification, this is, you're looking for $100,000. It's written as though it is for design and construction.
That's the way it was quoted.
So it will be completely, if it passes, that $100,000 will be enough to do
Design and construction.
all of it. Okay. Just want to make sure that was clear.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Town Manager, is any of that contingent upon getting an easement from the golf course? I don't see anything about that.
Yes, it would be, Plan A would be contingent on the easement from the golf course. Plan B would be to channel it to an area between 44 Southwester and the neighbors. There's a little wooded area in the back that wouldn't be on the golf course property.
I would switch those. Plan A would be to do that first. Plan B would be to try and get it on the golf course.
I'll defer.
But kind of, and I
to the
understand
expert.
the homeowners are thinking, how long is this going to take? I want to do everything kind of simultaneously, and first of all, get somebody there to look at the sewer, the stormwater. Secondly, like figure out how can we deter it ourselves, and thirdly, keep talking to the golf course to make sure we can get the easement. So, kind of doing three things at once, and then obviously doing the most economical, prudent way forward, right, for everybody involved.
Mr. Kimball.
So the layout design is what you're looking for, up to $100,000. once we've gone through that phase of it, can we use Chapter 90 highway funds to make the repairs, or we have to come back for more money?
This isn't really in the road. I think the catch basin is how far off your property? The catch basin that we piped into already. Yeah, I don't think, this wouldn't take road. This would mostly be on private property,
So in other words,
plus a piece of the sidewalk.
we can't use Chapter 95.
Exactly.
Right, so we'd have to come up with some additional cash in order to.
$100,000 would complete this job, worst case scenario,
Okay,
if we go to the golf course.
all right, thanks.
Mr. Chair, did
Mr.
the
O'Neill.
FinCom vote on this last night?
They made a recommendation, I'm sorry.
Yes, 9-0 to favorably recommend.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball?
make a motion, we support Article 25, 44 South Worcester Street, stormwater and drainage easement, design and construction.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just a quick note. I will vote on this one tonight because I think it's pretty clear, but I would like to see the articles going forward that we're voting on, so I can see the verbiage. Would be good.
Sure. So the next meeting, not this meeting, but next meeting, we'll have a couple of bylaw amendments, and we intend to have the red line versions.
Perfect.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. O'Neill?
Thank you. So obviously, the town meeting needs to approve this. So as much homework you can do, Justin, to anticipate questions from the town meeting members, they're the ultimate decision makers between now and then. But thank you.
Okay. Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your indulgence with that. Next up, I don't see anyone else to take out of order necessarily, so next up would be the Daggett Crandall proposal, I believe, and I'll let them speak for themselves.
Thank you.
Do you need something? Do you need the PowerPoint up?
Yes, if we could get the PowerPoint up.
Bassam?
Thank you. Oh, well, good evening and thank you for having us. My name is Jeremy Vieira. I'm Director of Real Estate Development at Rogerson Communities. We're here tonight on behalf of the Daggett Crandall Newcomb home, which many may know, on Newland Street, to introduce a proposed redevelopment of that campus here in Norton. We appreciate the opportunity to share the project and begin what we hope is a very collaborative experience and discussion with the town. Next slide. Yeah, here we go. So just a little bit about our history before getting into the project. I want to mention that Daggett Crandall has been part of this community for over a century. It has been in its current location since about 1968. So this is not a new use we're proposing. This is an expansion of the existing facility and the existing use, and the next chapter of a long-standing community asset. Next slide. At its core, Daggett Crandall is a mission-driven nonprofit. Their focus has always been providing compassionate, high-quality care for older adults, and importantly, doing so in a way that prioritizes residents and families. That mission continues to guide how we're approaching this redevelopment. Next slide. My organization, Rogerson Communities, is very proud to partner with DCN on this effort. We are also a nonprofit organization with a long history in Massachusetts supporting older adults through housing and services and care. Next slide. Today we Rogerson serve more than 2,000 older adults across 25 properties with programs statewide. Some of our work spans independent living, affordable housing, memory care, supportive living, and adult day health services for older adults. Next slide. At a high level, our work falls into three core areas. We provide services and care. We own and manage housing, and we collaborate with communities like Norton to develop thoughtful, mission-aligned projects. And the last piece is really why we're here today. Next slide. Our mission is centered on helping older adults age with dignity, independence, and connection to their communities. Aging in place is a really core aspect of what we do at Rogerson Communities. This project is a direct extension of that. Next slide. So turning a bit to the project itself, we're looking, what we're proposing is universally designed, environmentally sensitive, and sustainable senior living community that is built on the legacy that DCN has already built in this community. The intent is to serve a range of income levels and care needs from independent living through support and supportive services and memory care, all in the same facility, so that as folks age, they can remain in the place that they've grown up in many cases or lived for decades. Next slide. Our program for this particular project is made up of 4 primary components. 24 supportive living units, essentially a studio apartment with no kitchen. Another 24 memory care units of similar structure. Those are all about 300 or so square feet. We have proposing 103 independent living apartments with a mix of affordability. These were for folks who don't have the same mobility and cognitive challenges as some of the other units. In addition, we're proposing 100 independent living cottages spread over the acreage that would target folks that are looking to downsize but want a lot more independence and maybe have a couple cars. All units in this development would be age restricted to folks 62 and older.
Different.
A little different. 62 and older. So seniors is what we do and what DCN does. The key idea is to create a continuum of care that allows residents to remain in the same community from 62 on. Next slide. A couple other additional program elements that we're looking to add to this is a large community center, so that folks have amenities that they may miss from coming from a larger home. A farm stand, extensive outdoor amenities for folks. We really want to utilize the site we have and the natural integration into nature, because we have a really beautiful property out there. And we want to provide them access to Rogerson's care coordination services. We have a really great team that can provide a lot of services to folks, even if they're in the independent living units. They have access to a suite of services that folks wouldn't get in the standard condominium. And also very importantly, we are intending to place about 55 acres under conservation restriction. We'll talk about a little bit more about that in a later slide. Next slide. So the total property is about 92 acres. Our existing facility is in the right-hand, sort of the upper right-hand corner, or mid corner there. That small bar is the existing facility. And the rest of the acreage is spread about over a couple different lots over that. And the majority of our abutting towards the back and to the sides is actually existing conservation land. Next slide. So some of the environmental considerations which had a big hand in this particular project, key constraint is the rare species habitat, where you can see is that hatched area, and also wetlands area, which you can see in those yellow and green spaces. That is informed we can develop and where development can occur and where it cannot occur. We've worked really closely with our environmental consultants and also state environmental agencies to craft this particular layout. As you can see, the development is pulled towards the Newland Street and away from the Canoe River Reservation behind. Next slide. This is a master plan showing the main building sort of in the center that is is intended to contain the supportive units and the memory care units and the independent living apartments. So in total, about 150 units or so on that particular building. And then the cottages spread out throughout the site, but the interconnectivity of these sites and how the different cottages, neighborhoods interact with one another and their neighbors were really important in the way we designed this. Skip to the next slide. And this is a multi-phase development. We have no interest in doing this all at once. Next slide. We intend to do this over a series of 4 phases that would encompass a number of years. Phase 1 would be the building the main building with the supportive services to replace our existing facility. And then phases 2, 3, and 4 would be cottages of about 30 units each. And they would be built on a rolling basis, really driven by market conditions and sales and how many sales per year we can get. Next slide. From a permitting perspective, we are pursuing a local initiative program approach. This allows flexibility through the Zoning Board of Appeals, but critically, it requires community support. It allows the ZBA to grant waivers from the zoning code, but it requires us to collaborate with the community and get buy-in from the community. We cannot continue this project without support from the town. And simply put, we must get your buy-in on this. We want it, we crave it. We want to work very closely with the select board, the planning board, all the various residents to craft a project that really is in meeting Norton's needs. Next slide. Next slide. We may have some technical difficulties. Apologies.
Bassam, you there?
Awesome. There.
Yes, I am. I'm just trying to go back to the slides. Sorry.
Somewhere.
Thank you, Bassam. Thank you. So talking a little bit more about the program, the main building, phase 1, has the 24 units supportive living, 24 units memory care. Each are on separate floors with their own separate amenity spaces, separate outdoor spaces, dining, etc. That can care to each group's needs, which have very different needs across that that product. Next slide. And in addition, that building will have 103 units, as I mentioned. It's a variety of unit sizes, predominantly 1 bedroom plus dens, but there are also some 1 bedrooms we propose and 2 bedroom units in there. They will all have in-unit dishwashers, washers and dryers as well. Very key to this project and many of the projects we do is affordable housing. So 25% of these units are anticipated to be income restricted at 80% of AMI or below. So AMI means area median income, and that means folks making about $70,000 if you're single, or $80,000 if you're a couple, or below would be approved for these types of projects. We have all the common area functions.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt. And those count toward our affordable quota?
Correct, they do. Yeah, I believe it's the SHI count.
So of the 300, 20% would be 60 units.
Yeah, approximately, and I'll touch on that. We have amenity spaces on the first floor, a pretty extensive amenity suite for folks that are coming from much larger houses, as I mentioned, to a smaller facility. You want the areas where you can talk to your neighbors, meet people, have functions, have a party if you want. So we have a wellness suite, a fitness center, a yoga studio, a salon, an art studio, a number of other things that I won't bore folks with, but it's a really robust amenity suite. So people will have everything and more from their larger homes at this facility. Next slide. And we have some images I wanted to share. This is our common courtyard, so didn't talk too much about the exterior and outside amenities. But we think this is the beating heart of the program, of the project. It's our outside courtyard. We have built a pergola, structured it. All the art studio, dining studio, wellness suite, all are on the first floor surrounding that. So spill out into that area. Next slide. We envision this as a place that our residents can meet and the few summer days that we have around here, meet and host events not only for our community but for the greater neighborhood and the greater Norton community. Next slide. And one of the ideas we have, of course, this is subject to change, is small concerts of some kind. Also, art festivals or other types of events that we could host in this space. Next slide. So talking a little bit about the independent living cottages. We have 100 cottages that we're proposing, developed over multiple phases. All will have their own outdoor patio and driveway and one-story living. Similar to the apartments, we envision 1 bedrooms, 1+ den, and 2 2-bedroom units. The 1+ den being the most common unit type. And the facilities in that main building would be open to all our cottage residents as well, creating really one cohesive community. Next slide. So some precedent images of our cottages. We have, these are the views from the driveways, from the entry drives. But then we also wanted to create a front of their home towards the back, opening to their neighbors. Next slide. So this is the other side of the cottages, viewing over what we term the greens, the village greens, the village commons. In most cases, there are a mirror image of the units on the other side and those pathways. So people are walking together. They can wave to their neighbors in the morning. They can have coffee with them. And it really fosters interaction in communication. Next slide. In here, you can see where some of those pathways come together. We have these pocket parks or nodes where folks can meet, rest a bit if they're coming from a fairly long walk, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, and really interact with the neighborhood. Next slide. And another image of the cottages here at this angle. You can see those pathways, how the courtyards between, or the spaces between the units become their own park in a way for our residents. And also one thing we're very interested in fostering at this community is gardening. You can see raised beds there. We intend to have a farm stand where folks can sell their produce, sell other goods that maybe they make in our art studio, etc. So we really want it to be a highly programmed space. Programming is so core, and experience is so core to seniors, where isolation can be a real issue. And we're trying to do everything we can to avoid that in this property, in this project, and bring those folks together to make a really meaningful interactions and connections. Next slide. So talking about just community benefits, I've highlighted many things that I think are beneficial about the project, but just honing in on a few. It provides needed housing, much needed housing in this environment, especially for seniors looking to remain in Norton, both market rate and affordable. It activates a large constrained site in a very thoughtful way, providing habitat for wildlife and also giving back and retaining some of those walking paths that already exist there for the community's benefit. It contributes to the tax base, and it introduces opportunities for community engagement. Like I mentioned, the farm stand and some events that we could host over time. And in closing, I want to just recognize this is a meaningful project for the town, and we're approaching it with that responsibility in mind. At this stage, we're here to share our vision, hear your feedback, and understand how we can best align this project with Norton's priorities. We appreciate your time and look forward to the discussion.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
What is the current makeup and volume of the rooms that you have today at the facility?
So we have currently 30 beds, but 25 residents.
And they're all supportive care?
Correct.
So I'm a little concerned that the numbers for the supportive care, the memory care, are so low in comparison to the independent living. I think that all the different structures are important, but I feel like it's a little imbalanced.
That is actually something that we are exploring, potentially expanding. We're in conversations with our board to see if that is something, and also some market analysts to see if that is something we should pursue and whether the market is there. Because we we agree it's something that is getting more necessary with every passing year.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, to Denise's point, you know, those folks living in those other units are eventually going to go to the full care unit. So it probably is important to have that kind of, ability to accept them as needed. I'm familiar with a couple of these programs and projects. What do you have in the area that you presently run? Is there any other local town near us that you've got a facility like this?
Yes, so Rentham, we have a facility similar to this in Worcester as well that we manage, and we have quite a few in Boston. Boston is a more urban typology, so a bit taller, a bit denser. But I would say the Pond Meadow in Rentham is a property we manage and that we help that team build. And also, the name escapes me. You'll forget Briarwood in Worcester is another facility that we manage.
And we have one over in Mansfield that I attended a few years ago for their dedication. Same concept, same idea. And it was a beautiful place. And I can appreciate the fact, personally, in my opinion, of course, I'm one of the senior citizens now, but, when you get into a class like that, the ability to downsize and stay within your community is important. And by me downsizing, I'm now opening up property to other younger families who can purchase my property, which is very important. The initiative, the OIP, is obviously very, very important to you guys, and we've done them in the past. We've dealt with a few of those in the past, and I know there's a lot of incentives involved in that help you defray the cost of trying to do something as large as this project is. So I can appreciate that. I would ask you to consider green initiatives, and I'm sure that's probably part of the New WIP program anyway.
Yeah.
But at least look into that. In the acreage, 55 acres you're going to donate to conservation?
Correct, yes.
Where is that? I mean, I know the property. Red Mill Road is there. So in comparison to that, where would that acreage be?
So I don't know if we can go back to that slide, but it's essentially everything behind. So it's on both the left is the wrong term, the northern side of Red Mill Road and the
So it's on both sides?
and both sides.
Okay. The reason I bring it-
bulk of it being on the south.
The reason I bring that up is that's our well protection area. And as much as I'd like to see conservation get the land, I would ask you to work with Mr. Chica also. We're in need of additional wells, and that being on our aquifer could very well have the potential of an additional well in the future, maybe one or two. So if we put it under a conservation restriction, it gets very tough for us to go in there and put in a well. If we put it under the jurisdiction of the water department, that puts us in a different light. Either one is protected. I mean, you can't sell it, you can't build on it, you can't do anything. So I'd ask you to look at, maybe look into that possibility that we might be able to develop that for future water capacity and make sure we take care of it. The 40B option, the comprehensive permitting process, the affordable housing factor, is very important to me. I've been dealing with comprehensive permits for 30 years, and this town has been very supportive in stopping that kind of project in the past because it didn't fit our needs. This does. This does and will fill our future needs. So as far as me supporting the LIP, I'm definitely going to do so. And making them affordable is very important to me. And I think that's going to be another factor in it. But I think I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing, and I'm going to be in full support of anything you try to do. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Rich.
So, Jeremy, thank you for the presentation. I'm trying to find a downside to this outside of so much acreage being set aside for conservation, but because that's a beautiful piece of property. And if there's any consideration in the future carving out, there is a lot more behind that. I think it's phase 4.
Yeah.
That appears like that's being set aside as part of the conservation. Am I
A
correct?
portion of it is correct. Yep.
Okay. Everything else, I mean, this is a no-brainer for us. What is the possibility, or what is the approximate value at full build-out?
At full build out, we're working with our contractors right now to figure that out. So we have had initial pricing. It's about at full build out would be about 200 million.
About 200 million. Mr. Town Manager, what would that translate to from a tax receipt annually?
If it's assessed at the full 200 million, just give me a second.
That's okay. Well, while you're doing that, you know, I like that you're willing to upgrade infrastructure as well, because it's definitely going to need, you know, water, sewer, power, things of that nature, and that is one of the big things that would, you know, any municipality is facing, constant upgrades and whatnot with no money. So being able to do that, to facilitate it, is huge. That's just part of it. The age restricted, did I see 62 and older?
Correct.
For all of it?
Yep.
Excuse me. So is there a way to possibly prioritize, even if it's a portion possibly, Norton residents?
So we'll have to look into. Oh, do you? Oh yeah.
And that would
This is
be
my lawyer extraordinaire, Carla Chafee. Thank you.
That'd be 2.6
Give me 1
billion.
second.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Approximately 2.6 million in annual revenue.
In new
If
revenue
the assessment's 200 million,
at full build-out at current numbers?
2.6 million a year.
That does not include excise taxes and other tax possibilities also.
Personal property.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. I just thought I'd jump in real quick. My name's Carla Chaffee. I'm an attorney at Nixon Peabody. So that was a great question regarding, actually, what was the question now? 'Cause I'm blanking.
Preference to Norton residents.
Norton residents, yeah. So as you mentioned, this is part of the Chapter 40B program, and we're calling it local initiative, right? Because that feels a lot better, and it really is different from the typical 40B projects that you see. In order to do a LIP, as I think some of you know, we need support from the Board of Selectmen to move forward. The state won't accept our application unless we do that. But as part of that program, we're obviously working with the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, and they'll be overseeing all of the affordability restrictions that are placed on the property. And yes, this does get to your question about Norton residents. So when we're working with the state on the affordability restrictions, often a point that's negotiated between the applicant, the town, and the state is the percentage of residents, or the percentage of units that are set aside for residents of the town. So we can make an ask to them, you know, as much as 50% are set aside for Norton residents, but there's often quite a bit of pushback on that. So it may end up being more in the range of like 10 to 15 to 20%. And that's because, you know, this is state oversight. So they're seeing this as a benefit to the whole community instead of just the town. So that's a long way of saying we will do our best to work with the state to get the highest percentage as we can, but to some extent it's out of our hands. So,
Understood.
thank you.
Thank you for answering that.
If I could add something, I'm Jack Jacoby. I'm lawyer with Coogan Smith in Attleboro. I'm their local counsel. And could we get back up to that slide that was up there a minute ago? So one thing I do want to say is that our calculation is that 128 of the units would count for your subsidized housing inventory. And as you probably know, you're at 10.02% now, which is sort of razor thin.
We know.
If you go below 10%, then people can do 40B projects that give you very little discretion. But if we could get that slide back up for one moment, I just wanted to
Awesome.
answer on the environmental issue. And while we're doing that, let me just add, the problem we face right now is that this project cannot be built under your current zoning bylaw. And you can't have more than one building on a lot in the R80 zone, among many other things. There are a couple of special permits that could be granted, but we could not build this without doing the LIP program. So that's why we're really here, is first of all to let you know what we hope to do, We think it's an exciting and a great project, but we need your support in order to go to the state and then in order to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals with what they call a friendly 40B. So if you can go to one more slide beyond that one. Nope. Maybe. Nope, backwards. I just passed it. Keep going. Keep going. Yes. So this one shows you the protected species habitat, and what you'll see there is the white area is the area we can build on as a matter of right, but everything else beyond that that's in a different color is protected habitat for a certain species of salamander that lives in this area and is protected. And so we have applied to the state, and they have told us that we can build on the areas that we're showing here as long as basically a third of the area, as long as we protect the other 2/3. That will mean that we will not have taken the habitat of these particular salamanders. So that is the overall constraint. We are required to have the property be under a conservation restriction, but if we can build into that restriction, allowing the town to use it for well purposes, we certainly will ask the state to make sure that we can do that. And the other thing that I would say is that we have approached the Land Preservation Society of Norton as the party that would hold the restriction. They are a long-standing and well-respected similar agency in this town, and they have other abutting land that they use. So just wanted to be clear that without your support, we cannot build this project.
Excuse me 1 second. Mr. Rich, you have a question?
Yeah, Jack, thank you for that, and thank you, Mr. Chair. So of those parcels, are they all a pre-existing non-conforming use? Are they, how are they zoned right now?
The current facility is a lawful pre-existing non-conforming use. It does not have the special permit to work with, but there's only one building out there now. And so the problem here is that we've got a bunch of buildings. We've got 100 cottages. We've got the apartment building. We've got the memory care and assisted living facilities. And so your bylaw just does not allow this to be built. We have spent hours with the planning director who just retired, with the conservation agent, and with the building inspector, trying to find a way that we could apply to either the planning board or the zoning board to do this. We simply cannot. It just isn't contemplated in your bylaw at this point.
So we need to change the bylaw.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Chairman.
Well, that would be fine too, but that's been somewhat controversial, as I understand it, over the last few months.
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Mr. Jacoby. We've been on both sides of this over the years, so I recognize you. Thank you for supporting us on this. The LIP program, again, is very important, and I understand now more so why it's more important because of the issue of zoning. So I totally get it. And getting back to the wells, it was just a thought, because as you develop 250, 300 new units of housing, you got to start thinking about where we're going to get the water and that kind of stuff also. And I would assume that the infrastructure of the road, the interchange on 123 East Main Street, all that has to be addressed in traffic safety, traffic studies and all that stuff. So, as we move along with the project, but this town has supported friendly 40Bs in the past, mainly because we wanted to get to that 10.02%, and get there as fast as we could. So by adopting or supporting this puts us in a different light. Also in that capacity, we're making sure that we've now approved the project, that can kind of hold us in place so we don't have to worry about any additional, let's call them, not friendly 40Bs that we have to deal with, in the future, so.
And as we've pointed out, if you support this and if we get through the state process, then what happens is we apply to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and there will be extensive hearings with all of the traffic studies, the environmental studies, everything that's involved in that, and the Conservation Commission would be participating as well. So this is just the first step in a very long process. There won't be a shovel in the ground in 2026, that's for sure. But we are hopeful that, well, every journey starts with that one small step. And so this is our first step coming to you saying, we can't build it, we'd like to build it, please help us.
Mr. Chair, if I may just say that this applicant, thank you, has been a pleasure to work with. They're a nonprofit. This would have no burden on the schools. Just to clarify the affordable number of units, I thought you said how many?
128 count for the subsidized housing.
So more
inventory.
than the 20%, almost double.
Yes, yes, we, Attorney.
Come on up, please.
I did that calculation a few minutes ago when you were asking to be sure, but Carla can respond to that.
So the rental units, when you have purely rental and you meet the 25% at 80 AMI, all of the rental units count towards the SHI. The cottages are categorized a little differently under the guidance because of the way they're not rentals, they're kind of a buy-in model, and they're treated more like home ownership. So for those 100 cottages, only the 25 would count on the SHI. So that's how we get to the 128.
103 plus 25 is 128, and that's what counts for the SHI. And of course, every time you have a subdivision with another 30 or 40 or 50 houses, none of them are affordable, you could slip under the 10%. And this is going to give you a good margin to put against other developments that may be planned within the town.
And to clarify, this would be built out as people buy units. So, as maybe over 10 years, 30 units a year. And the percentage would be as every 10 units are built, 4 would be affordable or something like that.
Yes, it would depend on which units were built at which time, but if the rental units were built first, you'd get those right away. The cottages, because there's only 25%, the cottages are the future phases, so you're going to get most of it up front.
It's great news. Very good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So are you looking for a formal vote, or are you just?
Well, if the board feels comfortable tonight, with a vote in support, what would happen is we could submit a draft letter for your review and adoption. And that letter will be included in our package to the state in our application under the LIP program. So if I could make a suggestion, if it pleases the board, you could authorize Mr. Gould to sign on your behalf a letter of support to the state.
What's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
make a motion that we ask the town manager to set a letter of support for the construction of this new Daggett Crandall. What is the actual name of the?
Daggett Crandall Newcomb.
Is it still Daggett Crandall? Okay. Daggett Crandall Newcomb project, and that the select board support the LIP.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair?
All very much.
Thank you very much.
So in addition to that, it will be good to solidify this vote with actual language that perhaps can be provided to the town manager that can outline what is an LIP and 40B, any language that the state may prefer to see rather than what we just motioned. And then we can, at our next meeting, maybe take another vote if that makes sense to the board, just to lock it in a little better with a little more formal verbiage. That's just my thought.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rich.
Myself, I understand what you're saying, Kevin, but I have full faith in town manager and assistant town manager to do that verbiage according to state standard verbiage.
I agree with Mr. Rich, and I would just make sure that you write it right, will you?
Mr. Chairman,
We got it. We can handle it.
Mr. Chairman, I agree also having a couple of attorneys on the payroll helps.
So, Mr. Chair, my concern wasn't that. My concern was to read it into record for the public to hear it, the full vote. But I'm fine.
How about we can have him after he drafts the letter and sends it off, then we'll just read it into the minutes.
That's all I'm asking.
During the
Perfect.
manager's
Thank
report,
you.
maybe, or something, yeah.
Yeah, to town managers report it to
Happy
next
to
meeting.
provide that to the board.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Senior and Community Center update.
So this is an exciting development that's been a long time in the making. One of my first things that I was excited to do coming aboard here in Norton is to give the seniors attention and the benefits they deserve for all the effort they put into the community. I know the voters approved a senior and community center, and we're intending to strengthen that within the budget limitations that we have and provide benefit to the community. So we've shifted the leadership there a little bit to provide more strength for the programs, the seniors, and to make it more community accessible and friendly. So I'll let Assistant Town Manager Shannon McMahon explain a little bit more. This is probably the first big project she walked into and started even before she was on the payroll. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. As Mark stated, yes, even before I started here, Mark and I have been working on this project. I officially call it my baby now, even though it's not mine. It's definitely the women and the folks who work over there and spend all their time over there. But Mark and I, Christy and Jen, have spent an enormous amount of time looking to create a different approach to the leadership over at the Community Senior Center while being cognizant of the financial state that we are in. So what we opted to do, and what I'm very proud to announce today, is we have implemented a multi-director approach that will allow us to continue to support the growing number of participants at the Senior and Community Center. I am pleased to announce that Saucy I'm going to massacre her name, Magardishian, has become a newly appointed director, along with Beth Rossi. So we'll have two directors over there now. Beth Rossi will maintain a directorship over the human services portion of the Senior Community Center, with focus being towards the SHINE program that they offer over there, grant writing, fuel assistance, and so forth. Saucy will be taking over the coordination of volunteers, senior programming, and this is a direct result of the massive amount that the community has put into this facility. When it was at the former Little Red House, which I believe was the old fire station, they were getting roughly 20 to 25 participants in their senior programming and or human services programming. They're looking at over 200 a day over at the new building, the Senior Community Center, while keeping their staff the exact same. It's unheard of. They deserve a huge round of applause for what they've been able to maintain. Now, with two directors sharing equally in managerial tasks, we feel confident, and they've already been doing this for some time now, and they feel very confident that this is going to be a wild success. Additionally, what we've done is we've taken Anne, who is a part-time person over there. She did part-time Council on Aging, Community Center, as well as part-time for the veterans. We have taken her out of the veterans entirely. Estelle is going to be looking to replace Anne in that capacity, and Anne is now full-time over at the Community Senior Center. She is being using all of her resources to assist Saucy with the coordination of volunteers, of which there are about 500 senior volunteers. I think that number is right, about 500.
There's many people that pitch in.
Yep.
So many volunteers.
So that we definitely need that. We need someone to be coordinating the volunteers, give them direction, have schedules and so forth, because that's just a resource, an untapped resource that we can utilize. Additionally, Anne will also be assisting with the coordination of senior service, senior events, such as the line dancing, the chair yoga, and things like that. Additionally, we've got Karen Ursum, who will be assisting Beth with the SHINE program. She is SHINE certified, so she'll be assisting Beth with those things. She's also going to be spending some additional time learning and developing her skills at grant writing, so she can assist Beth with looking for and continuing to market and apply for all the relevant grants that are out there. Additionally, again, keep adding additionally.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more. We have also added a part-time DPW facilities worker over to the COA, the community center. We're using that from the DPW, thank you, Justin, and that individual will be there to take some of the weight off of Beth and Saucy's shoulders, so that this individual will essentially be in charge of helping with facilities. It's a beautiful building. We don't want everyone who's working in the building to be so overworked that they're forgetting to take care of the four walls that surround them. So Justin's DPW guy will come in and assist with the facilities. Additionally, one thing I think we're all very happy about is that this individual will be there to lock the doors. So we can actually use this facility, this beautiful facility, for some of our community events as well. So we're very excited about that. I just got word that about 25 minutes ago, the job listing went up and is live and is posted. So we're very much looking forward to getting that ball going. Finally, the last puzzle piece to this is Estelle. Our beloved Estelle, our VA agent, has agreed to oversee kind of everything in the process, while also adding in VA hours as a satellite office over at the Senior Community Center. This will absolutely assist some of our seniors who are also veterans, kind of one-stop shopping. If they're already at the Senior Community Center getting either senior programming or human services, they can just keep there, and Estelle will have hours listed there so they can coordinate, and they don't have to drive from the Senior Community Center to Town Hall and then back, alleviating some of the stress from the seniors, which we are very proud of. All in all, we've implemented this as of February 16th. We didn't announce it formally, seeing how it went, and I'm proud to report that it is going off without a hitch. The seniors are over the moon. Saucy has stepped up and is absolutely assisting. Beth is very happy. Everyone over there is very, very, very relieved and very happy with the outcome. We're excited to have Justin's new guy or gal come in and assist, and so we can get the Senior Community Center open to not only assist our seniors, but also to our community members who may have a desire to use that beautiful building. And aside from any questions, that's all I have for you.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
These changes all sound fantastic. The concern is the money. And how do we post for jobs, increased roles, and new roles without having that in the budget from last year?
So I can take this. We're not asking for an additional dollar. Actually, it's budget neutral. If you'll recall, town meeting added a position at the senior center last budget cycle. So what we did was we took those funds, spent approximately half, a little less than half, and added Anne, who was working half-time in veterans, half-time at senior center, senior and community center, put her full-time at the senior community center, took the other half, a little less than half, so we're actually saving money, and the facilities person. So we're not even spending the money that they had allocated. So this is a win-win.
Okay.
Denise, I'll be honest, it took me a Venn diagram to see it. We actually had the entire dry erase board with an entire Venn diagram. We were very cognizant of the fact that we couldn't spend any more money. And so that's why this adaptation or maneuvering took so much time and effort, was because of that. We did not want to be adding more of a deficit, so we just had to be creative with what we had.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rich.
Shannon, I just want to thank you for all the work that you and everybody else that was behind the scenes in it did. It's phenomenal, and I have heard nothing but good things so far. So thank you very much.
That's all the thanks in the world I need. I mean, going there today and presenting this and seeing some very, very happy faces and hearing a lot of positive feedback is the greatest gift.
But thinking outside the box and maximizing resources is common sense. So, and you implemented that. So thank you very much.
It's all credit to the team in general. Estelle, Saucy, Beth, everybody, town manager, Christy, everyone worked together. We all got together. Everyone had a great idea, and we worked together as a team that we should.
Thank you for leading that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I completely agree, and it's almost like a paradigm shift when you look at the extremes versus where they came from before and the management structure they had to run it. Now I'm glad that you addressed the facility aspect of it, because being a member of the building committee, we've constantly gotten feedback through the improper channels on facility issues, and I'm glad that Justin's going to have a person kind of working on that. How many hours would that facility person need? I can't see them needing a lot of time. Yeah, even though it is budget neutral, I'm just curious.
Yeah, the plan in place, Mr. Town Manager, is to have them over there X amount of hours a week. We're roughly thinking 8 to 10, maybe 12 hours a week, depending on what events they might have after hours, so that he can stay late and lock up and that kind of thing. But
Perfect.
So kind of utilize the custodial type work with the locking up of the building at the same time.
Great.
That's great. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really excited to hear that it'll be open to the community, because that's what we promised when we originally did the debt exclusion for this.
Additionally, Kevin, I know this was asked earlier as well. Once the individual begins work, we're going to work directly with Estelle from Veterans and Saucy, who will have kind of a weekly schedule. The beauty of that is usually any events we're going to know about in advance. So we'll work directly, Estelle, Justin, myself, Saucy will work together so that that particular person is available for those X hours when we're talking about closing up late for community events as opposed to just being there for the senior events. Plus it adds a little bit of relief to the staff at the senior center who's working there all day. So they're not feeling obligated to remain in the facility after hours. So they're feeling some relief on that end as well.
So, Shannon, just so you know, I'm sure you do know that I've been after this since day one, since the place opened. When are we going to open the building more? When is it going to become available to communities? What are they going to be programming after 3 o'clock in the afternoon? So I can't tell you how thrilled I am with what you've done. So
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one other thing we need to look into is the after-hours programs you're talking about. And that was always critical to me, too. We've had these conversations, so you know how I feel about it. But the importance of allowing others to use the building and pay for the use of it, and making sure we have a structured program in place where we can actually maybe, I don't know if it's friends of the senior center or who gets the cash for it, but a program where if I want to rent the hall, I can rent it, and we should have specific guidelines on where that money goes, how it can be used, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's probably one of the next steps we have to look into, but
It's absolutely the next step that we have to look into. Mark and I had discussed it, and I know that you'll let Mark speak to it.
So yeah, that's the select board's policy that we put in place a few months ago. So if we do intend to charge, we can simply amend that policy. Right now it says that it's pretty much first come, first serve. Unless you're making money, then you'd have to put a portion of that towards the town, or if you make a mess, then you'd have to pay a fee, a cleaning fee, and not be able to use it again until you pay the cleaning fee. But we can certainly revisit the fee amount at the board's discretion.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, traffic committee update. Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about the article for the town center. I'm not going to get into that. I just wanted to bring a couple of things to everyone's attention. The North and South Worcester Street program, the new traffic light system, is going out a bit earlier now than we expected. I believe it was June or July instead of October. So that's good news for us. And if it goes out to bid now, we would hope that some kind of construction will be starting next year. So that long-awaited traffic signal at North and South Worcester Street is in the works. We're working on with Mass DOT on an East Main Street safety corridor coming from the town common down to the entrance to the DPW, looking at trying to come up with a consistent speed limit on that road, and any other safety improvements we can make on it. It's the Traffic Safety Committee's feeling that this stretch of road should be a safety corridor because of all the municipal buildings we have along with the college. So we're working on that. Densely populated areas such as Reservoir Street, we're starting to look at. Maybe, even though it's the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit, the state has a different opinion about, DOT has a different opinion. They feel that whatever the average speed is, if you do a speed study, whatever that average speed is what it should be. And according to DOT, Reservoir Street has an average of 30 miles per hour. We don't agree with that. We've recently passed the bylaw in town where we can reduce the speeds to 25 miles per hour. But in the meantime, we're going to work with Justin and the DPW to put us some additional signs on Reservoir, perhaps even stating that it's the densely populated area, and maybe help try to reduce some of the speeds in that area. Water Street is now a no traffic to trucks street. Probably one of the only legal ones we have in Norton, and it takes quite a bit of effort to put up a no truck traffic street because of the complications we have with grants and Chapter 90 funding and all that stuff. So it's very, very difficult to do that, but we are continuing to work on getting better signage on Woodard Street. Just so you know, Justin, the other day I drove over there, and down the street came a 52-footer. So they're not getting the messages on the signage. So we have to do something different down there. We've recently ordered 6 data feedback speed signs that are going to be installed, working with the police chief and with Mr. Cheeker, and they're going to work at putting those around town at no cost to the town. These were all through a grant that we worked on. And last but not least, we realized that on West Main Street, specifically, once we looked at Wheaton College, there are no speed zones for schools on West Main Street. And once we saw it, it was like, slapped us upside the head, like, why would we not have speed zones for schools? So if you look at the Yale School, look at the high school, Saumonis, middle school, if you're driving down the street, you wouldn't even know there's a school there. So Serpent is working with us to design some new signage in those areas so we can go back and take a look at it and create school zones, which we should have. Even though it's a state road, they have agreed that they will work with us. The state has agreed they'll work with us through the DOT to get those properly signed and segregated so people know that there actually are schools on West Main. So, but that's basically all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Old business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a number of town meeting warrant articles for your consideration this evening. Last night, I'm not sure if you tuned in, but the Finance Committee stayed late reviewing a number of articles. That's why we've kept Mr. Chicka here for the balance of this meeting. So with your indulgence, since the school vote passed at the ballot box, there's a remaining step that would have to take place before the project could move forward, and that would be putting it on town meeting, where a two-thirds vote would be required. So I would put that forward to the select board to forward it to town meeting for their consideration.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
So the ballot question, in my opinion, was probably not as clear as it should have been. And a lot of Proposition 2.5 was being bounced around out there. There are different versions of Prop 2.5 overrides. There's a general override for funding and there's a debt exclusion. And I think we have to be clear that to people that we're talking about a debt exclusion. Now, the difference between a general override and a debt exclusion is a debt exclusion has a maximum years that the project will be funded. And at the end of that term, say 20 years, it goes away. When you do a general override, then that stays forever. It never goes away. So in this particular case, I think we have to be clear that the Norton Middle School roof funding project is a debt exclusion. And that's what we voted on at the election, and now we have to vote it on at town meeting. Having said that, I'll make a motion we support Article 1.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, through you, Chair.
Yes.
What was the FinCom vote on this last night, Mark?
Unanimous 9-0.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, we'll have the budget items for you at the next meeting. There's just a couple moving parts, which I'll address in the town manager's report. The capital plan. So we'll wait for Mr. Chicka. I guess I can do the non-DPW items first. The capital committee voted on these unanimously 5-0. The finance committee confirmed unanimously 9-0. I can go through it in as little or as much depth as the board would like. It's essentially this Excel sheet. Do we have a page number?
I don't think that's in our packet.
I didn't see that.
No, that's
one
right. It's
either.
this right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it separately handed out?
Wait a minute.
It was part of the packet. I ripped it off.
Page
Capital
37.
improvement fund.
Yeah.
37 it is.
Through you, Chair, I did have one question.
Ms. Luciana.
Mark, the police department says cruisers. Doesn't say how many.
So they requested 3. That funds 2.
And is that like a normal cycle of replacement that we're following? Is there?
I mean, if you ask them if they want faster, newer cruisers, they do. And if they want less repairs and more vehicles ready, yes, they do. Working within fiscal limits, Chief Clark, I don't want to speak for him, but he understands, and 2 per year is something that he can definitely live with.
How many cruisers do we have in total?
Total approximately 35.
Okay. And so this is year 1 of so many years of this funding, or
No,
is this in
would,
total? In
this
total.
would buy them out in full.
Okay.
And Mr. Town Manager, would we see the cruisers that are coming offline going up for surplus? Is that what we'd say?
Exactly. They would go on Municipid or wherever Public Works puts them on, unless Public Works has a use for them. I mean, they are, 100,000 miles. I don't know if Public Works has a use for the old police cruisers or if they just go right to the auction block.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
We've got into a bad habit over the years of taking and giving other departments old cruisers or whatever, trucks or whatever, and not, instead of it going being stable inventory, it's been going up and up and up and up. And I think we need to take another look at all of our vehicles and determine what we need and what we don't need, and start going either flat or down. We've got cars sitting around on properties that we're not even using. And it's not so much that they cost us anything, they're probably paid for. But insurance costs money, you know, and all the maintenance and upkeep. And some of these units are electric, and batteries are only good for so many years. So, you know, I think we have to start looking at, yes, if another department can use it, that's great. But when you give it to that department, what are they going to give back so we can get rid of it? We don't need to keep adding to the fleet because I think it's becoming a problem.
Understood, and I don't believe we will add to the fleet. We will surplus these. I don't, given the looks I'm getting, we're not going to use these vehicles.
Correct.
What else do you have on capital?
So going on down the list, police is requesting tasers that were approved by the various committees. This is year 1 of 5. They prefer to have them under warranty, and I understand that's a public safety issue, to keep people safe, to use non-lethal force when they can. So they're coming out of warranty this year. This year is year 5 of 5, so next year would be year 1 of 5. And it's the same company. They have a monopoly on tasers in America. There's no second company to buy them from. Next is the parking lot. The police parking lot is in deplorable condition. It's been like that for decades. It's overdue for a repave. We did receive $25,000 from the state, so we'll use that first. Hopefully we don't use the full amount, but that's what was recommended. That will get it done. Next up is schools. Tech displays, that's a contractual obligation, year 3 of 5 for the middle school. Tech switches that's a new request this year. That's actually at 60% reimbursement, but they're asking that the requirement would be to allocate the full amount, even though we would only spend 40% of that amount. But we would have to tie up those funds while the project is underway. Tech switches, I'm not a tech guy, but to the best of my understanding, they provide the mechanism that the internet, the Wi-Fi communicates through the school buildings. That's how they get internet to the classrooms and communicate. The expected life is 3 to 5 years. They're at 7 to 9 years with this. Seems reasonable. Although it does come with a high price tag, that's a necessary part of technology. Paving, we already have $50,000 set aside for the lot at the middle school, and that's not enough to complete the lot. So this $50,000 with that other $50,000 would be enough to complete the lot.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
So when we go out for paving of the school and we go off to pave the parking lot behind the police station, can we bid them at both at the same time?
But
well, I shouldn't say it that way. I understand you can't, but can we bid them in a way that we can pick one company to come in and do them both, so we're not paying 2 different companies?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We have this bid already through a surge contract where we
It's a collaborative.
Thank you. A collaborative contract with other communities for procurement. So we already have a contractor on board, and we've already gotten prices, so we know this is an accurate number for both projects, actually.
Thank you.
Moving to library, their security system is in need of replacement, and the request is for $2,084. That sounds reasonable. I'm informed they have over $1 million of books, and as well as other artifacts.
Did you want to go talk about the highway?
Oh, did I miss that? The asphalt hop. I'll let Jared speak to that, or Justin. Sorry.
Just don't call me Chica. Yeah, the highway asks, there's two good size asks there. One is for an asphalt hot box. As you know, that's what we use to fill these beautiful potholes we have in our town. Just like every town, the asphalt hot box we have right now is 30 years old and on its last legs. It's been repaired many times. It needs to be replaced. The second item in the highway ask is a six-wheeler with the sander and plow. Again, this is to replace a 30-year-old Peterbilt that we have. It saw its last storm during the blizzard. It has a major hydraulic leak that can't be purchased. It has a sanding box that, again, has been welded more times than humanly possible. So it's time for replacement.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
even in such wonderful condition, we're still going to try to auction that off?
Yeah, you have to, I'm sorry, I don't mean yeah. Yes, you have to follow the procurement laws, right? So we have to, we mentioned before, you have to ask all the other departments if they're useful life to them, which in this case, we'll find that it's not, and it'll go straight to auction.
Thank you.
Or if nothing at auction, it'll be scrapped for scrap metal.
While you're there, would you like to speak about the pickleball courts?
I'd love to. So we've been asked through various people. The town would like to have a recreational pickleball court here in town. Our Parks and Recreation Director had done some research prior to me getting here. I've worked with her. The overall cost of the pickleball courts is roughly $60,000. I say roughly. It's pretty close to exact. There's a $10,000 amount that's coming out of a revolving fund from Parks and Recreation. There's some money that was allocated last year for it, and the delta is $40,000. And these will replace 2 of the 4 tennis courts at the middle school that was given to Parks and Rec from the school department. We're looking to put a mobile system in, like you see at the best example would be Gillette Stadium, where they sell the tiles that create the court on top of the surface that's there. We looked into resurfacing that tennis court. We could do it for roughly the same amount, but we're not confident it'll last in the long haul. So using these temporary, I call them temporary because you could pick them up and move them, is the best opportunity for the town. I'm also told that there are leagues that are already ready to pay to use these courts.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
I'm fully support of pickleball courts. I don't have a problem with them. But I can tell you, many a night I turn on the TV and there's neighborhoods complaining about the noise that they make. And I understand, I know exactly where the courts were in the middle school, or are. There are neighbors on Oak Street behind it. So before we get into a situation where we've got a neighborhood up in arms, it would be nice if when we're bidding out this project, that maybe we add some kind of fencing that might defer some of the noise of those ding, ding, ding balls when they're getting hit. They make a unique sound, and the noise carries quite far, unlike a tennis ball. So I think it's important that I'm all in favor of pickleball courts, and I think that's probably a logical place to put it. I just wouldn't caution you that when the word gets out, there could be probably 20 neighbors when that, just roughly picturing the neighborhood, at least 20 neighbors coming out and saying, what are you doing? The quality of life will go downhill real fast. So I just caution you, maybe take a look at some kind of a fencing, or maybe on the back of the court, put up something different on the fencing so it absorbs some of the noise, that kind of stuff,
Mr. Chair, as a new member of the Park and Rec Commission, and also somebody who attempted to play tennis at the middle school courts a couple of years ago during the school hours, and was kicked off by some teacher who was driving away and called the police. Police came over. I don't know if people realize that you cannot be on school property during the school hours. So as much as logical as it seems that the old middle school courts might be a good location, I think practically nobody's gonna be able to use those unless it's summertime or unless, after 3:30 in the afternoon. So I would ask that you maybe come and talk to the Park and Rec Commission and see what our thoughts are. Just off the top of my head here, listening, and I'm thinking Everett Leonard, because there are no homes around Everett Leonard, and there's plenty of land. But I just want to make sure that I would ask that you come to the Park and Rec Commission and have a discussion with us before putting it out to bid or anything.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Sounds reasonable. The fire department has the payment 3 of 5 ladder truck and fire turnout gear for to be taken out of ambulance reserve. And then just to note, before I let DPW Director Chicka speak to water and sewer, is that all these requests, there was a handful of these that were submitted to our state and federal partners. And if earmarks come through, then we just simply would not spend whatever funds are authorized.
So when we go to water, where you have 2 requests out, and when it was brought before the Capital Improvements Committee and the Finance Committee, they talked about deferring the total costs over a 5-year period. So that's what we're asking for. We're looking to add a loader to the water and sewer departments. This is twofold. Currently, the water and sewer departments do not have a machine capable of filling trucks in a reasonable amount of time. Not to mention that during this year's storm, we had multiple issues with removing snow because the town has one loader that's at the DPW highway division. So anytime there was an issue on the other side of town, we'd have to drive a loader from the DPW highway division across town to the other side. Water and sewer also is responsible for removing snow from their 19 or so pump stations and 5 wells in town, and also the water treatment plant. So it just makes sense for water and sewer to purchase their own loader. On top of that, water department has a plow, has a 6-wheel truck that was purchased, I believe, last year or the year before without a plow. It has the capability of taking one, so we'd like to purchase the plow for that vehicle. Both of those capital requests would come out of retained earnings, not out of general fund.
So what's the board's pleasure on Article 10?
Motion to support Article 10.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. Chair, just a comment about the Capital Improvement Committee. I know that Eric Norris is no longer on the planning board. I believe there are only 5 members on the Capital Improvement Committee that are appointed. I'm fine with Mr. Rich staying on it. I think there's benefit to having continuity, especially with some of these multi-year expenses. But I just wanted to mention to the planning board, a couple members here, and with Paul leaving, that they appoint somebody else so that you don't go shorthanded at your future meetings.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep, something to address before November. Or October, rather. So, up next, for your consideration, West Main sewer expansion.
I guess I'll speak on that. We're looking to move along the sewer expansion down West Main. As you know, Phase 1, we'll call it, goes down past the elementary and high school to, I believe, roughly Freeman Street or thereabouts. We're looking to expand it now from Freeman Street all the way down to north and south Worcester. past the Solomon School. We were originally going to stop at the middle school, which, as you know, is under a constraint to get rid of their Title V septic system that failed a few years back, so they're on borrowed time. But we realized that the Solomon was also on a septic system, and we have industry along that way that could benefit from it. So we're looking to expand it down to North and South Worcester. What the request for today is for a study to be done. Roughly, I'm just looking for the numbers. Town manager, do you have that in front of you?
The amount we're requesting is
I see it.
60,000. Is that what you have?
Yeah, I'm sorry. 60,000 is for a sewer study because of the topography, because of the the heights of the road. It's not cut and dry to do a gravity feed system from the Solomon all the way down to Freeman Street. What the study is going to come back with is what's the best method to get it down, if that's in fact the best place to send it. They're going to give us 2 or 3 solutions with the best practice, as well as help us with grant funding and payment possibilities. So the 60,000 today would just be strictly for the study to be completed, and hopefully we'd be back in the fall talking about a design.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rich.
Justin, is there any way, I think everybody knows what the problems that were encountered bringing it from, the common up to Freeman.
Correct.
And is there any way that engineering can include any testing, core samples for material and where the line would?
Great question, and the answer to that is obviously yes. That would be in the design phase, however.
Questions?
So, Mr. Chair,
Mr. O'Neill.
So Mr. Kimball explained the South and North Worcester Street, light
traffic intersection
thank you.
upgrade.
So I'm sure you're going to try to correlate with the work that they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we don't have to dig it back up later.
Great, thank you.
Because obviously I don't want to say obviously, the future asks would be to take that line from that area and take it to the Attleboro line, right? So we'd have sewer all the way down West Main Street, and then potentially at some time in the future to stop bringing it north and south on Worcester. So definitely part of a futuristic expectation. So it'll be sized accordingly and taken all into consideration.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rich.
Justin, with that being said, if for some reason that the testing is going to take longer than the start date of the reconstruction of the intersection at North and South Worcester, if they repave, overlay that, does that fall under the 5-year moratorium for digging up new asphalt?
Yes, it would. However, I believe that can be waived, which I believe at this point is the DPW director's job.
Unless it can be designed to go in the gutter or something.
Into the side, right. But we're talking a pretty good sized pipe, and we try to keep our sewer aligned in the middle of the road if at all possible, but that's going to be determined on what we find in the ground, right? But there's also that 4-inch that comes from the Solomon that I'm not sure if it was you and me that talked, but I had spoke to one of the board members that the possibility of removing that and putting it in its place. So,
yeah, that's while they're doing that intersection. If maybe
we
that
could put
can
something
be
in the ground. Understood.
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. All they're going to do is put a stub at the end of that. And there's a plaza there. The school is not going to be impacted. The entranceway to the school, when they do that redesign, that's basically where it ends. So
Correct.
We can connect the school. That's not going to be an issue. The East Main Street is long overdue in getting some of these things done. I'm sorry.
I said, sorry, Mr. Chair, both schools, the middle school and
Yeah, I mean, it's
the
going
elementary.
to take them all. And as far as the middle school, and that sewer line that we have on the ground now is just a forced line that goes from the school into the center of town. And it was put in there inside an old water pipe so we could take care of the issue of a failing system. And then our leaching fields weren't working right. So we had to do something, and that's what we did when we replaced the water line. We reused the existing water line and put a smaller pipe in there and
Correct.
used that for sewerage. It ends at number 120 West Main. That's where the senior housing is. So that's where it's going to start. But if you think about all the properties along that route from that point on to Charlie Corners, there's a major retail and industrial buildings there that will benefit from this, allowing us for future development in that area on some of these larger, buildings we have. And especially like Goat City's Plaza, I know this system's failing, already. Everybody knows it. So I'm sure there'll be more than wanting to jump on the bandwagon to make sure that happens. So I think this is long overdue. I think we need to get going and get started on getting this section of town sewered as soon as we can.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
Mark, I suppose it's about the same question for 16, 17, and 18, which is why Justin is here. But have these all been voted on at FinCom?
Yes, all three unanimously 9-0. And I do just want to note with this project, the intention would be to come back in the fall for the design funds and hopefully the following spring, a year from now, for construction. I'm pushing them a little bit.
I'd love to say yes, but I won't speak to that at this point.
Yeah, that was my next, comment.
It's going to take some time. The design's going to take some time, especially because we don't want to have the same issues that we had last time.
Yeah, well, these are all great projects, and particularly the Elm Street expansion, or West Main Street expansion, I should say, is really important, I think, for if we want to have economic development. I'm a little concerned that we're going to bite off more than we can chew if we try to accomplish all three of these projects in the same timelines.
I can appreciate that. I can put your mind a little bit at ease that I'm very good at scheduling that type of stuff. I understand the constraints of Norton and the road process of getting around, and there's only so many ways to go, right? So I think having our designs completed puts us in a great position to decide then when do we want to construct, whether we want to do one now, one later, what grant funds are out there available to us, what SRF loans are available to us. So maybe we do one this season and one next season, but getting these designs completed is the step one.
Mr. Chairman, one final comment is for those out there saying, how can we afford to do this when we're cutting positions and we're doing this and doing that? These are under the enterprise account system. The enterprise is separate, and it's not part of 2.5, Prop 2.5. This is above and beyond. Only the users pay for these programs. So all these improvements are going to be paid for by the water sewer users, not the general taxpayer. So I think we need to be clear on that we're not just throwing money out there because we got a lot of it. It's because we have the ability in some of our reserve accounts to use some of that money for this purpose, and also to use to raise the money through our user fees.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, this phase anyway is retained earnings, but I'm imagining by the time we get to construction, it could be looking at something different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this study will give us opportunities.
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion.
On which number?
16.
Chairman, I make a motion, we support Article 16.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may briefly introduce the next before I let the subject matter expert weigh in. So this is strengthening our interconnection with Mansfield. We already have a connection there. It's a few inches shorter than we would like it to be. It provides for emergency water flow between the two communities, but in order to sustain that for the future, it needs to be strengthened on both sides. Mansfield is completing a water main project on their side, and this would be for us to do a metering pit, widen the pipe, and design what needs to be designed so we can purchase water if necessary from a community that already invested $50 million plus in PFAS, and it makes a lot of sense from my high level perspective. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Nothing needed to be added. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kimball.
I make a motion we support Article 17.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
And I will let Justin speak to this one. There's a lot of moving parts with this one. I'll say the water meters need to be replaced. There's 600 no read meters. That's not really optional. We need to not do estimated reads. We need actual reads. So we need to have that water meter ongoing replacement program in place. And that's the bulk of this, but there's some other nuts and bolts.
As the town manager stated, we have over 5,000 water users in the town. Of those 5,000, roughly 700 were estimated reads. It was 900 last year. We've replaced 200 over the past year. What that means is that, you know, the meter replacement program took too long to develop. So we're behind the curve. It's important that we have accurate readings, not only for the town's revenue, but for the residents as well. So what we're asking for at this point is 216, that's 150,000 of that is for meter replacements for next year, which would get us about 400 of those 700, which is well within our capability of doing, because we're the ones that go out, or the water department is the one that goes out and changes these meters. The other portion of that delta is for work that needs to be done at the water treatment facility. There's a carbon filter that needs to be replaced. We've done the other 5, I believe, or 4. We have 1 left to do. And there are also wet wells there, clear wells that need to be drained, cleaned, and revamped. So the remainder of that comes from quotes from the contractors to take that work and take care of that work. Also part of this article is $30,000 from sewer retained earnings. Over the years, again, we've been updating our pump station controls. What that means is there's wells of sewerage that come on and off, pumps come on and off depending on what level, you know, the sewage hits. The control systems in 3 of those pump stations need to be updated, and I want to do it, or I would rather do it all at one time and not keep waiting for a catastrophe. So the money's in the retained earnings, so we're asking to get that all done this year.
Questions? Mr. Kimball.
Make a motion we support Article 18.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the last warrant article this evening is number 24, reconstruction of 140 and 123. So this is the downtown area, and we've been discussing this for many, many years. This would be a design for 140,000. 100,000 is in the form of a optimistically highly anticipated earmark. We're very hopeful that this one will come through, and if it doesn't, then we'll be back in the fall and we'll only get 40,000 done of the $140,000 study. So this would be to get us up to 25% of design. Then the state would come in and hopefully pay for the easements and pay for the construction. We would need to pick a design, so town meeting would likely pick one of the 3 designs up for discussion. I understand the traffic committee has weighed in on it. We've had a public hearing. I don't know that the select board needs to pick one. If the select board wants to pick one, they could recommend that one to town meeting to pick, but we would need to pick what study we're going to do. We wouldn't do all 3.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, the Traffic Safety Committee, we've been working on this project for a couple of years. I can tell you, in our own meetings, the confusion we have between picking from one of 4 solutions. You know, the 3 that we have, and plus the 4th would be leaving it as it is. So I would highly recommend to the board that we pick one to bring to town meeting and try to do that. If we try to discuss all 4 options at town meeting, we're not going to have enough days or hours to do it. And I'd highly recommend that we take a position now. And, you know, I can explain the 4 options. I'm sure Justin can also. But the 4 options are out there on the table. I can tell you that the Traffic Safety Committee meeting had a meeting last week. Unfortunately, we didn't have a quorum. But I can tell you that the members were sitting there having just a general discussion. The consensus was 4-1 in favor of option 1. And option 1 is to go straight through the intersection to the left, to the right of the church, and come back out on the Taunton Avenue.
That's what we would call the Taunton Avenue extension.
Right. The article that allowed the suggestion to go through the town common was not looked favorably upon. The roundabout has some discussion, but the Traffic Safety Committee believes at this point that the right way to do it would be go directly through for a couple of reasons. Number one, it would be less intrusive to the intersection. Number two, it does, based on the engineer's suggestion, cost about today's world, about $6 million. And the engineering firm firmly believes that the state will pick up all the cost, where the other projects will have some cost to the town. So for those reasons, I personally would recommend the Taunton Avenue connection straight through. And we can talk about more at town meeting, but Justin, you had a public hearing. Maybe you'd like to share, what the general consensus was there also.
Yeah, we did. We held the public meeting. From what I understand, there's been a few, but the one we held the other day, we gave the attendants the opportunity to informally vote and give us their opinion on what they'd rather see. I can tell you that nobody wanted to see the Mansfield extension cutting right through the town common, right? Because that would be the most intrusive to not only the town common, but it would also take up a lot of land from the surrounding houses and properties there because their driveways would also be impacted. So just to elaborate a little bit on what Select Board Member Kimball mentioned was the source of these projects is basically the commission that you appointed me to earlier today, the JTPG and the Serped Commission. This work would be hopefully picked up by the TIP program, which is transportation state-funded conglomerate that pays for projects like this that improve traffic safety, that improves overall infrastructure of the town. They're very big on pedestrian safety, on ADA compliance, and also on bike paths. So three of the four, obviously doing nothing changes nothing, but the other three are impacts all 3 or 4 of those phases: ADA compliance, pedestrian safety, right down the list, right? The Taunton Ave expansion that would go through to the right of the church does have some property takings, but because it's a state road, it's not only Beta's opinion, but mine as well, that the state would possibly pick up those, those easement costs. Normally towns and cities pay for the design and takings, right? That's usually how these work. MassDOT or the TIP Foundation would pay for all of construction, but the states would be on the cuff for those 2 items. But because it's a state road, like Bob mentioned, it's a good chance that the state would pick up the cost of the easements along that road.
Mr. Chair. So I also attended the Historic District Commission meeting last week, and we had a discussion about the 4 options, and they also prefer, well, they were split basically, to be honest with you. They were split, leave it as is, do nothing, and in the Taunton Ave bypass.
Sorry,
So-
historic or traffic?
No, historic district
Okay.
commission. I want to be courteous to them. I mean, it's a district. It's going to affect their historic landscape, if you would. So I attended the traffic one as well. Unfortunately, I'm not on it, so I couldn't help bring them up to a quorum. But the historic district commission that's the one out of the three, if they had to pick, that they recommend as well. So I don't know on this article if the right way to word it, but my suggestion is to present the Taunton Ave bypass, option 1, to the town meeting and let them decide. Obviously, if, I'm always on the side of letting the people choose, right? If they don't choose it, then basically they're choosing to leave it as is. So it's, it's binary at that point, right? So that's my thought.
Agreed. The suggestion would be to authorize that 40,000 along with your suggestion as a board as to which one to bring to town council.
Yeah,
I mean, to the town vote, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I think the Taunton Ave option 1 is the one to present to a town meeting, and then they may have questions about it and that kind of thing. As far as beyond the 25% design, will there be additional design costs when we get to 50?
Absolutely.
70? Okay. They may ask that question.
25% is the necessity to bring it to the TIP program. So
Okay.
to get it on a TIP project. After that, you go from 25 to 85% and then to 100%.
So the full cost to the town is likely going to be a lot more than 140,000.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Similar to the bike pathway. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. The rail trail years ago, it was a state grant as well, alternate transportation grant of some sort, and it was $3 million. And the town had to come up with 10% of the $3 million, which was $300,000. So I don't know what the percentage is in this case, but if it's an $8 million project, it could be a lot more money than $140,000.
Absolutely.
Mr.
Right,
Kimball.
and
And the state is kicking in a big portion of it, the full construction.
Right, and
Good. Construction, that's what I'm saying.
So the estimated construction is 8 to 10 million. If
And
that
if
helps you.
if
So I
design-
would think the design is going to be,
10% maybe?
yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
And I would add that, we've had conversation with the Traffic Safety Committee about this. Where it is a state road, unlike a bike path, which wasn't, we don't feel we should be paying pretty much any of it. We'll get to the 25% level, and then we're going to start working with our state senators and reps and see if we can get some additional funding from them. Because in my opinion, it's not a town road, it's a state road, and we shouldn't have to be putting in 10% of the cost of the project. And I know, based on the first meeting we had with DOT about this project 3 years ago now, at least 3 years ago, the amount of interest in this, they brought in DOT members from the state level to talk to us about this. So I know this is on their radar, and I know they want to do something about it. So I think we need to agree that we may have to pay the 80%, but we're probably going to make every effort we can to get as much money from the state as we can to make sure that this project is done without us having to pay for it. It's their highway, it's not ours.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, that makes sense, and that hopefully that'll be the case. The townspeople should know that this is just the first step in a multi-step funding appropriation as well as approval process, right? So
Correct.
You're asking for 40,000 seed money, basically, hoping to get another 100,000 through the other means. But there'll be multiple approvals at future town meetings for additional funding for design work, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, Justin.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Rich.
I'd like to make a motion to put forward, approve, reconstruct, or recommend Article number 24, reconstruction intersection of Route 140, Mansfield Ave, Taunton Ave, and Route 123, East and West Main Street. Option number 1, the Taunton Ave extension.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, please. Are we voting to recommend it or to present it, option 1, to the town?
We're voting to recommend
Recommend,
Article 24 with option 1 as our choice.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to be clear on this, the let's say someone decided that we didn't, they didn't like option one, they want to do the roundabout. They can still offer an amendment on town meeting floor for discussion. So it's not like we're not going to give them other opportunities if they don't want to do it. I think this board needs to take a strong position on option one. Doesn't mean that others can't do something else if they decide to do it differently or want a different option.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Chair. With your permission, on to town manager's report. Thank you, Mr. Chicka.
Thank you.
So
Town manager's report.
So first up, top of the mind, budget development. We presented a budget April 6th, a balanced budget, which was not an easy task. The high level points are we're weaning ourselves off one-time spending, which current year's budget contained about, I want to say 2.3 million at least in one-time spending, free cash and drawing from savings accounts. And that's simply not sustainable. So this budget weans us down to 1.6 million. The plan for next year would be to get down to around $500,000. And then we would be in a balanced budget. That requires belt tightening, being responsible with how we spend money, how we fill vacancies. Each vacancy is an opportunity to assess efficiencies. We're combing through all the departments. We're doing everything we can. Cutting the cord on cable, finding areas to use different departments working together with IT, with HR, there's a lot of moving parts. So I've asked all the department heads to pitch in, and everyone's working together. School, town, DPW, we're all in this, and there's a path forward. We're not in critical emergency territory. We're also not in green light go territory. This is, if we continue on the path where we're headed, we would be in critical territory. This is a slight course correction. It's not a monumental thing. It's let's get back in the direction we need to be to improve our bond rating, to manage funds sustainably within the 2.5 levy, because that's the constraints that we have. So there's been a few amendments recently suggested. Everyone doesn't get everything they asked for. It's a balanced budget. If you look at it, actually, fire's taking a -2%, police is a -1%, and don't be alarmed, because we're actually not. It's actually level service, and school is a +1. So we're being fair all around. Recently, we're looking at the ambulance reserve account to restore, so we don't have to cut a fire officer. And analyzing that account, we'd use 1.2 million instead of 1.1 million, which would have been ideal. But 1.2 million is also sustainable. And that account also pays for ambulances, fire engines. It's also been drawn upon to pay for reconstruction to the fire department. But 1.2 million is a solid account. So with that, with an extra 150,000 from our projected savings in health insurance, which we're hoping to agree with the unions and have substantially more in the coming months and year, but we're putting, through the hard work of the town manager's office, Christy, Shannon, Jen, endless hours, staying late. So we're trying to make it work. And this way we wouldn't be down a firefighter. We wouldn't be down a police officer. We would actually be able to fill a police officer's position halfway through the year. So police would be able to full steam ahead. I mean, it takes time to send someone to the academy, both police and fire. So we're maximizing our manpower, working together to find creative solutions, which is essentially using a salary vacancy factor. And for the schools, this would, add, to their approximately 400,000 increase from last year. This would add another 200,000 to that. So the schools would be up a net, probably 1.5%, under the revised proposal, which also takes into consideration a lot of information. The revised cherry sheet estimate, which came out from the governor's office, but the House came out yesterday or the day before, I believe, and increased the net to us by 100,000, which is typical. The House typically increases the governor's ask a little bit. It's a little bit of a dangerous game because you don't know what the Senate and what the governor's going to do. But if we take that $100,000 increase and put it towards the schools, I believe that could be the final budget. We'll come back in about 9 days for Finance Committee. There's a public hearing April 27th. Public will have an opportunity to come and weigh in on it. In the meantime, the next 9 days, we'll be combing over it, looking for more efficiencies, more savings, to keep level service, to keep doing what we have to do to keep everything running on a budget, tightening our belts, everyone pitching in. That's the long and short of it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kimball.
Mark, there's most recent chatter and emails and conversation about per student costs maybe be elevated by maybe $10 or whatever, a certain amount. Circuit breaker money might be coming available. I know we declared a state of emergency on a snowstorm last year, hoping to get some of that money back too. Do you see any other possible revenues coming in between now and town meeting that could maybe soften a couple of things, or do we just take that money and apply it to next year's budget?
Good question. The Finance Committee has been asking this too. That what you're referring to would actually require an act of Congress, so I wouldn't hold my breath that happening before May 18th. But we are hopeful it will eventually happen, so I wouldn't want to count on that money. Free cash is essentially going to snow and ice. We had a big snow and ice year, and any excess would be recommended to go to accumulated absences, which we had a couple payouts, and there's a couple more payouts scheduled for next year with 2 firefighters scheduled to resign. But we're actively negotiating with the unions to limit future payouts when people resign, to limit the accumulated sick and vacation time. So we're not seeing these 6-figure buyouts repeatedly in the future, but that's what we have to deal with today. Other funds, the only thing that comes to top of mind is health insurance, but we're convening the PEC, the Insurance Advisory Committee, so that's not a short process. That probably wouldn't be in time for town meeting, but just looking for things that might be in the budget that we can squeeze a nickel here and a nickel there and adding it all together.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
Mark, you mentioned that without having numbers in front of us, but you mentioned that there wouldn't be any impact to the fire or police headcount. I didn't hear anything about the rest of the departments, though. Is there any impact in headcounts anywhere else?
I want to say no, with the caveat that I hesitate to speak for the schools. I know their budget is roughly 40 million, and every year they have people cycling in and out, but there's a number of teachers that approach tenure, which is 5 years, and inevitably some people are non-renewed. There are retirements every year. I know the initial estimate was 8 to 10 layoffs. Then with the additional aid, maybe that's down to 4 to 6. I'm just loosely estimating. Don't hold me to that. That's the school department. But with what I just mentioned, I really don't think there would be any effective net layoffs at the school department. But that's
We'll pay
me,
atten-
not the schools.
Yeah, we'll pay attention as we get.
They have their separate budget.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you. So I know early on, back in the spring, your goal was to fund the new positions through the existing salary revenue, basically self-funded or make it cost neutral, however you want to put it. The DPW director, the IT director, your office. Have you been able to do that? Have you been able to be successful with that goal?
More than successful. We've actually have a net savings in the three areas you just mentioned. We created an HR department, DPW, and an IT department. And for example, in the IT department, instead of spending $100 an hour to have 12 hours a week, we're spending $50 an hour to have 40 hours a week. So we're getting more service for less money.
Nice.
It's incredible what you can do when
And
you
the sewer and
focus
water
on
revolving it. When I was running, I went to a couple of their meetings, and I know that they spend a lot of money. That it's not necessarily Norton staff salary, consultants, whatever the case is. So I'm sure there's some findings there as well with our DPW director. But thank you.
Yeah, and we were able, I'll just add, since IT, the reorganization with IT was so successful, we were actually able to find money in the operating budget to fund the school's computer monitors for the high school. So hopefully we can work those requests out of capital and into operating moving forward in the future. And even after that, IT still delivered tens of thousands back.
Thanks. Moving on with your report.
So yeah, budget. Finance Committee and Select Board, we're just getting ready for town meeting. We have to finalize a couple of laws, which we have to get redlined back to the Finance Committee and the Select Board. Besides that, it's just the budget warrant articles, and then we should be good to go for May. We've locked down, and I need to confirm that we have the company to show up and show up with the microphones and the speaker so we can have town meeting run off without a hitch. So I will follow up on that. I know we did reserve them, but it's always good to confirm. The local election was very successful. As you know, we have a returning select board member, and the school committee member also was reelected. A number of other faces. For the ones that haven't been announced yet, there were a couple of write-ins on the planning board. One person ran, Frank Kearns, and he was obviously elected. The other two, I have Chris Momini and Rob Bellas. So Rob has accepted, and Chris has not yet responded. One of them had 53 write-in votes. The other had 35 write-in votes. Looks like 53 was Chris Momine and 35 was Rob Bellas. So we're getting started with that. Successful election. Sincere thanks to Jill, all the staff, the seniors. The staff in the clerk's office works nonstop, preparing for weeks in advance. They had a big security meeting with police and a lot of stakeholders there. Make sure everything went off without a hitch. Congressman Auchenglass came by. We briefed him on our infrastructure needs, public safety, education. He's looking to partner with us into the future, along with our state partners, and continue smart growth. We talked about the Senior and Community Center. Great collaborative effort all around. Eric Kernscherf is our interim accountant to support continuity of financial operations, so we're not missing a beat. And special thanks to Marianne for filling in the interim with our accountant stepping down. And we'd like to, thank him for his efforts over the years. And we're continuing to move forward and subject to your questions.
Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano.
I know it's super early, but just to get you to start thinking about the town hall works really well for local elections and smaller elections. I'm a little concerned we don't have enough space when we get to the federal election level in the fall. So I don't know if we're going to reconsider going back to one of the schools that has maybe perhaps more space, or I'm just not sure if this will be enough parking spots and flow here.
Right. We've been discussing whether it makes sense to, I mean, there is a lot of space in this building, but you'd have to set it up in an orderly way so people know what precincts. I mean, these two rooms worked well for locally, like you said, but I mean, we'd either have to find a couple more rooms or, I mean, you're right, probably to err on the safe side would be to ask the school department to use, I'm not sure, was it the middle school or the high school that was used in the past?
I think years and years ago it's the high school, but most recently it's been the middle school.
Yeah, middle school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll defer to our clerk's recommendation on that, I think, but
Yeah. No, I just wanted to bring it top of mind as I saw the flow for local, which worked well for local, but as I'm thinking ahead.
sure. And we always hope for higher turnout. I know we
Yeah.
included a paper in the tax mailer to let people know that there's an election, because it's always great to get more people involved.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
In
Kimball.
addition to Denise's concern, I would also throw out the community building as another option, only because the schools are in session most of the day while we're trying to do the election, where the community building could cancel everything for the day, and even if it was just one precinct, one or two, it would be probably
The senior and community center?
Yeah.
Hadn't considered that.
Yeah, because it's the main room is big enough to handle that kind of influx. But again, the schools are great, but they're in session, so it just might be another option.
So you sound like doing like some precincts here.
3, 4, 5 on one side,
Yeah.
1, 2 on the other,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Splitting it up.
Just separate them.
Yeah.
Is that a Tuesday election state? Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm sure our clerk will consider all the options and we can continue to discuss. I believe it's this board that ultimately votes to authorize the election.
And as far as parking goes, we've got parking out front, we've got parking on the side, we've got parking at the library. We've got 100 spaces behind us at the DPW if we just move our vehicles out of the way. I mean, there's a lot of parking around this building. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is how do you bring them in? Without everyone coming through one door, you'd have to maybe have it set up so you have 2 doors coming in from different directions. That's all.
Right. I mean, these are the two big conference rooms. If you use the other entrance, I mean, you could go upstairs, but there's not a lot of big rooms upstairs. We'll continue to discuss it and figure out the best solution.
Okay, moving on. We need to have a designation of a warrant signature. I know that was Mr. Rich previously.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we designate Roger to be a designated warrant signatory.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, warrants.
If I may?
Yes.
Could we have a backup signer also designated?
Sure.
I'll volunteer if you want me to. Unless Mr. Rich wants to do it.
I'm looking for a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Mr. Kimball as the backup signer.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Warrants.
Chairman, make a motion we approve invoice warrant 26-40 dated April 2nd, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chairman, make a motion we approve invoice warrant 26-41 dated April 9th, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve payroll warrant 26-20 for the week ending March 28th, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Through you, Chair.
Ms. Luciano,
I think we missed an item under town manager's report.
I'm sorry?
There's an appointment under town manager's report.
I think he mentioned that during the town manager's report.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Which one? Accountant or?
The-
Yeah, the
the
accountant,
temporary-
the temporary accountant.
Sure,
I
yeah,
missed-
so I mean, I give a brief explanation. He currently is the accountant for about 20 towns. He comes very highly recommended. And in fact, our new treasurer has worked with him, and we're not missing a beat. So Eric, we've been working with him, close coordination, and hopefully it's just until we can get a replacement. But we'll see how it goes. Operationally, everything is running as smooth as it should be.
Thanks. Sorry I missed it if you said it earlier.
No worries.
Mr. Chair, that sounds great. I don't know who to ask this question to, but as
You
we
can
all,
ask me.
as we all know, the town accountant goes through the same appointment process as the town manager does, with the select board leading that. So I don't know how that's going to play out going forward. So just throwing it out. Don't need any answers. Just want to ask the rest of the board, maybe anyone who's done this before, Bob or anyone else, what the process is, and just to make sure we keep it on our radar.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Minutes.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve the April 2nd, 2026 minutes as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Select board report and mail. I don't have anything. We're not going into executive session this evening. And a drum roll, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a good evening.
Good job, Rod.